And we're back. Boy, this is much easier to do. Not a ton. Much easier to do winning that game. Matter of fact, let me pull up. Looks like Texas is making a push. I'll pull up Texas at Georgia as well. The final is not 0-0, though.
Downhill. And you know, it's an unselfish.
There we go. Now, this game's going to be on ESPN, but there's a hell of a game between Ole Miss right now and Florida. Florida's probably a dangerous team to catch at the moment. They got nothing to lose, and they got a pretty damn good defense. Hold on, I got the wrong. How do I do this? Select stream. There we go. 3rd and 13, Georgia nearly converted that thing on Texas. Texas down 14-10 here, about to end the third quarter. And I believe Ole Miss up 27-24. It's a field goal game right now. To hell with Georgia, go Jackets, gunner sacked. 4th and 5, they're going to go for it. They throw it downfield. There's a flag, and they're going to throw PI. Boy, no one gets help like these guys, though. Soon as I start watching. We'll watch the end of this Florida Ole Miss game, then we'll get into this TCU BYU. Apparently the ref near Key told him it was first down, which is why he took the timeout with 14 seconds left. But here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with that, though. That's the second time I've heard that excuse from Key. That's the second time I've heard that excuse. Last time was against Virginia Tech, where he didn't take the timeout for review, and then it was, the ref said something, and that was PI, though. Ref said something, and we messed up. You have an entire staff of people. You have an entire staff of people to help you with this kind of shit. How does it keep getting fucked the way it is? How does that happen? Explain it to me. One time I let it go. Second time when it could have cost you the game. And make no mistake, had they been able to wiggle a field goal out to win that thing, that would have been Brent Key's fault. 2nd and 3 now for Georgia. Peek back over at this Ole Miss game. Yeah, Ole Miss up 27-24, 2:59 to go. They've got the ball. Oh, they're about to score here. 2nd and goal. It's going to be 3rd and goal for Ole Miss inside the Florida 5. Wait, did the refs even call any non-procedural penalties against BC? Because the broadcast announcers were saying they got away with PIs and roughings. I don't care. I was just going to tell you flat out. That has nothing to do with the defense. We're not going down the coat line tonight. We're not doing it. I know it's coming, though. Spent close to $800 to watch an ugly win. Did you go up there? Stalls our offense. We had 628 yards of offense. What do you mean? We had 628 yards of offense. Where was the stall? At the end of the day, defense has to step up. Yeah, I mean, that's it. What are you talking about? And kicked and punted? What is the expectation? What's the expectation for our offense? To score every possession? Is that the expectation? If we don't score on every possession, then either Busters needs to go, or the refs are involved somehow, or there's some other grand conspiracy. You're not going to score every possession. It's not going to happen. At least that can't be, like, if your expectation is, okay, we've got to score every possession or we lose, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for you. I don't want to hear anything about refs or any of that. It's got nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything. Was it the ref's fault that the guy had 15 seconds to throw every time? Our offense is fantastic. I don't know what the deal with Jamal is. I have no idea. None. We did know. We did know it would be horrible. Because I told you it would be horrible. All right, 3rd and goal here for Ole Miss. I don't know where Bailey Stockton was. Play action here for Ole Miss. Throw incomplete. Oh, this gets interesting for this Florida Ole Miss game. They're going to have to settle for a field goal. And a touchdown and extra point wins it with 2:47 to go here. Man. They're going to go for it. I guess that's not an awful decision. I mean, well, it's the difference between a touchdown tying and losing, or a field goal tying here. Play action, incomplete. So Ole Miss goes for it. Is this some more analytics bullshit? They're up 3 on the 5-yard line and turn it over on downs. What is that about? The world is that about? Why would you just not take the points so that if they can't tie it with a field goal if you're Florida? Jordan Allen is a beast, yes. So Florida's going to take over on their own 3 here. 2:42 to go in the game against Ole Miss. Field goal is going to tie it. Ole Miss is up 27-24. Oh, my goodness. Throw. Oh, that should have been PI. Oh, there is a flag. That was definitely pass interference there. He hit him before the ball got there. Yeah, that was definitely a PI. Oh, man. Oh, man. You don't understand the call. I don't either. Because, again, Florida can send that's the most obvious PI call I've ever seen. The thing is, Ole Miss kicks a field goal there. I mean, you got to trust your defense enough that you don't have Georgia Tech's defense. They're not going to march 97 yards downfield on you and score. Handoff here for Florida. They didn't call that a PI? They didn't call that PI? Okay, was the ball tipped or something? Was the ball tipped? How is that not PI? Someone explain this to me. So 2:07 clock rolling, Florida with the ball. Back to throw for Florida. Steps up in the pocket. Lagway's going to be sacked. Lagway's going to be sacked. Damn, it's going to be 4th down. Now, they got to go for it here. Maybe Lane knows what he's doing. I don't know. I don't understand how that wasn't PI, though, on the previous play. I mean, he hit him like a full second before the ball got there. They're saying the ball was tipped? What? Here's another flag. Holding Florida. It's declined. Yeah, just in case he wiggled out of there, let's get a hold in there. We can't let one of the SEC top teams lose to one of the bottom teams. Can't let that happen. I guess Georgia just scored. So Georgia up 21-10 now. Isn't Sarkisian supposed to be some kind of offensive genius? Why can they not get any semblance of offense going? Appreciate the $5.
Just win tech. Win baby win. Go Yellow Jackets. Honeybee emoji. Honeybee emoji. Honeybee emoji. Honeybee emoji. Honeybee emoji. Honeybee emoji. Honeybee emoji.
I've got to make an AI song about that. UGA just recovered onside kick with 14 minutes left. Is college football nearly ruined with all this stupidity that goes on in it? I mean, what? Why would you onside kick there? Yeah, Georgia's going to end up blowing out Texas, most likely. Oh, me. What in the world? Someone cashing in a prop bet on that onsides. I'll tell you what, I've said this before on the channel. With the prevalence of betting bullshit that goes on in sports, again, we just had 14 people arrested. In connection with the Lucchese crime family. And part of that has to do with the NCAA, some of the NCAA sports. UFC is now currently being investigated by the FBI over what appears to be clearly thrown fights in the UFC, like 30-1 favorites losing in the first round. Ton of money goes on that guy to lose in the first round. So, I'm generally against conspiratorial thinking. But now it makes you wonder, because it's all just about money now. That's the only thing that matters to anybody in college football. You wrote a paper about betting in sports. It makes more sense for the UFC, and Dana is really, really sensitive. If you ever hear Dana White asked about NCAA pay, he'll melt down on the podium about it. We pay our guys way better than Bellator, blah, 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 blah. But the lower card guys are making like $5,000 a fight. So it's nothing for them to take $20,000 to go lose in the first round if they're a low card guy. Fourth and 9 here for Florida. They're in an empty set, 5 wide receivers. It's 4th and 9. I guarantee you if they convert this, you'll see a flag. Let's see. Deep ball, way deep. Damn, it was tipped and almost caught by a Florida player. That'll be the ball game there. Now Georgia's 2nd and 2, up 21-10. First down, Georgia. So you wrote a paper about the mafia involved in sports rigging. What were your findings? When was this? What was your conclusion? Or maybe just give us your abstract. That would give us everything we need. Thoughts on UVA? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch any of the Virginia game. I saw you won by a lot against Duke. I'm assuming Morris didn't play. But that's impressive. So now there's only 3 teams really in the hunt for the ACC. Well, there's 4. There's SMU, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Pitt. Georgia Tech plays Pitt, so it's really going to come down to 3 teams. Yeah, Duke lost to UConn last week, which is Morris did play. Okay, that might change how I feel about it. I also might change how I feel about Virginia. Are you playing Morris when he's really not ready? Did you force a doctor to say he was okay to play? Because I'll tell you this with concussions. Once you take like the second one, you run into major issues. So I'm just going to trust that he was actually okay to play. But yeah, I mean, beating Duke's good. It's what you got to win out. Let me get a Diet Coke. Yeah, NC State got their ass beat. Remember all the excuses we heard? Oh, NC State actually a good team, though. NC State's actually way better than anyone thinks they are. Miami in a good spot, or in a better spot, by the way, because all Miami needs is they need 2 of these 4 teams to take another loss. They need Virginia to lose to Virginia Tech. Tech will lose to Pitt. That'll knock them out. Or Pitt will lose to Georgia Tech. That'll knock one of them out. And then Miami needs to beat Pitt. So if Miami beats Pitt, they need and SMU takes a loss, they're back in it. So they need 2 things to happen. They need Pitt to beat Georgia Tech. Miami needs Pitt to beat Georgia Tech, and then they need to beat Pitt. Then they need SMU or Virginia to lose another game. That's what they need. Yeah, someone said, who was it, was saying like, Miami would beat the full out of Tech. As down as I am on Tech right now, I mean, Georgia Tech just doesn't lose to Miami. It just is what it is.
Is SMU out with a Louisville loss next week?
Probably. It gets complicated, but probably. They would be out if Virginia Tech, or if Virginia won out and Tech won out, or if Pitt. Basically, they'd be in the same position Miami's in today. Oh, damn. I looked down. Ole Miss scored. They got the ball on the 1. So that makes sense. Lagway running around, dumps it off for no yards, flag out. Malachi Heisley is the best running back Georgia Tech has had since Gibbs. Wasn't long ago, but yeah. So the next time you get excited about March Madness, always keep that in the back of your mind, because they still do this thing. Well, it's happened in basketball before. In fact, I'm pretty sure the movie Casino, it was made, what was that? The guy's name in the movie was Lefty Rosenthal, but that wasn't the actual guy who it was based on's name. This is a guy that was connected to the mob, infiltrated Vegas, was the guy that introduced sports books to Las Vegas. A mafia guy did this. What was he? He was basically running the Tangiers, I think. And I think before he did that, he was doing point shaving in a game that involved NC State, I want to say. Used to be that the Mafia ran Las Vegas. Now the new Mafia runs Las Vegas, which is Wall Street. What is a defense? I'll tell you the speech that I want. You know, Brent Key does weird stuff. This is the speech, the football equivalent that I expect to hear from Brent Key now.
Want to play, then I'm getting the fuck out of here. I mean, if you're not going to recover Greg Graham, if you're just going to let him drive by you, if the rest of you are going to let him catch the ball outside the 3-second lane and drive all the way in here without one guy challenging him, then I'm leaving and you fucking guys will run till you can't even suffer. Now, I'm tired of this shit. I'm sick and fucking tired of an 8-10 record. I'm fucking tired of losing to Purdue. I'm not here to fuck around this week. Now, you may be, but I'm not. Now, I'm going to fucking guarantee you that if we don't play up there Monday night, you aren't going to believe the next 4 fucking days. Now, I am not here to get my ass beat on Monday. Now, you better fucking understand that right now. This is absolute fucking bullshit. Now, I'll fucking run your ass right into the ground. I mean, I'll fucking run you. You'll think last night was a fucking picnic. I had to sit around for a fucking year with an 8-10 record in this fucking league. And I mean, you will not put me in that fucking position again. Or you will goddamn pay for it like you can't fucking believe.
I will run you until you cannot even suffer anymore is a goated line. Is a goated line. I will run you until you can't even suffer. That's how I feel. I swear, Georgia Tech, you will not put me in this position again. Was that Paul John? That was Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight's an interesting guy. He's a guy that probably had the most disciplined teams in sports history, had the highest graduation rate of players. I mean, like something like over 95% of all his players graduated. If he was still alive, I think Knight died, right, a few years ago. If he was still alive and Isaiah Thomas called him at 3 a.m. and said, hey, something happened, I need you to bail me out of jail, Bobby Knight would get up at 3 a.m. and go bail Isaiah Thomas out. In fact, everyone that played for Bobby Knight loved Bobby Knight. But the discipline that he instilled in his players did not translate at all to himself.
I know this channel is mostly football, but Stoudemire needs to be fired if the men's hoops doesn't make March Madness this year. Tired of the mediocre.
Yeah, I don't keep up with basketball. I saw we lost to Georgia last night. But we look pretty bad. I mean, we're struggling to beat Northwest South State A&M right now in basketball. Yeah, he did sound like Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. If you just need to be entertained for a minute or two or for hours, go drudge up old Bobby Knight interviews or post-game press conferences on YouTube. The most entertaining is he did this golf show. He was an avid golfer. And the outtakes are insane. We almost lost to East Maryland. Wow. All right, I guess BYU is already up 3-0. So they finally got this game on. Good deal. Looks like TCU is going to punt. And they'll pin them right on the 10, 9-yard line. All right, let's see what the Mormons can do. Yeah, Georgia's kicking Texas' ass. For some reason, Texas, they're winning 28-10. Texas also refuses to play one side of the ball. It just so happens to be offense. After football regular season is a wrap, I'm going to be on hoops and calling for Stoudemire to go. I thought he might not survive early on because he was named in the Mel Tucker suit. I don't know if you remember that, Joelish, but anyways, BYU quarterback rolling out, throws downfield on a comeback route, complete for a first down, BYU. Stoudemire was evidently dating the girl that accused Mel Tucker of wrongdoing. And I thought, that ain't a good look at all. That ain't a good look at all. And we were just coming off of the Pastner thing where he had some crazy friend that accused Pastner of a specific type of misconduct, which ended up being bullcrap, but still. All right, BYU quarterback takes off, another first down for BYU. I don't think that's a fumble. Ball came out, but it looked like the ground. Yeah, I'll see if I can go find that. Stoudemire, if I remember it, it said that he had given this girl special gifts to when he was at Boston, I think. Because he was with the Celtics before he came to Tech, right? He was doing the Missoula ball thing up there. Let me see if I can find it. Stoudemire, Mel Tucker. That's what I thought. I don't follow baseball, no. I'll find it here. Yeah. In Belleville's letter to the university, she said Tracy's text messages with Alvarado, her longtime friend and booking assistant, said she had a consensual relationship with basketball coach Damon Stoudemire, saying she was, quote unquote, dating him. Why did this thing do that? Oh, I love it when there's 50 ads and then it anyways. And had a good thing with Damon while she was also in a relationship with Tucker. So that's what happened. This girl that accused Mel Tucker says she was dating Tucker and Dante Stoudemire at the same time. Now, why is that especially bad? I'm pretty sure Dante Stoudemire is married. Pretty sure Dante Stoudemire is married. Let's go look. Or Damon. Is he married? I don't know. It doesn't say. All right, don't quote me on him being married, but I could have sworn he was, though. Yeah, and then there's text messages here. Miss Tracy, I haven't heard from Damon since Monday. Miss Alvarado, he'll pop up. Miss Tracy, for sure, he's not going anywhere. LOL, he was supposed to find time to see me before the 20th. Miss Tracy, Coach Tucker told me he loved me last night. That wasn't weird, though. He made sure I knew it was about being a friend. Yeah, I tell all my female friends that I love them over the phone. In other news, Coach Tucker isn't going anywhere either. So yeah, these girls were like dating Mel Tucker and Dante or Damon Stoudemire at the same time. If Buster goes, do we promote Winky? Probably. Yeah, probably. Alabama can still make the SEC championship. Well, who are the one loss? Well, there's A&M with no losses. Ole Miss still has one loss. However, that's to Georgia. Georgia has one loss to Alabama, but now Alabama has 2 losses. So you need some help, but yeah, you can still make it. Stormy Boonantoni? Is that what this reporter's name is? Boonantoni? Or Bonantoni? It's going to be 2nd and 6 for BYU. First down BYU. I've never hated anything as much as the stupid-ass Georgia Tech defense. It's bad, man. Probably the worst in the Power 4. Someone tell me that it's not the worst defense in the Power 4. It's got to be. It's got to be. Good win today, Rhett. Close call. It was a bad win, but I'll take a bad win over a loss. One missed tackle here, BYU. Another first down, man. BYU just marching down the field. South Carolina, well, they at least played defense for a half, though. We didn't even play a half of defense. We didn't play a quarter of defense. We didn't play a series of defense. We didn't do any of that. However you want to subdivide the game, Georgia Tech's defense didn't play in that, however you want to group it. All right, 1st and 10 for BYU here on TCU 40. Handoff. Big stiff arm, almost a first down. Maybe we'll see some defense here. Got to blow out Pitt. We ain't got to blow out Pitt. I'll just take a win. And Pitt made a liar of me. I said I'd be shocked if they got blown out by Notre Dame, and damn it if they didn't do it. To be fair, BC got some athletes. Okay.
Just shows how deep the ACC is. Just means more.
Yeah, appreciate the $2. That's right. First down BYU. What record does BC's athletes have right now? They have such good BC, to be fair, they have such good athletes. Their only win is against Fordham. Good athletes, though. They just 1 in 10. But they're good. Every team has some athletes, man. Every team. That's what we're going to go with, guys. Yeah, BC, the best 1 in 9 team that's ever played in football. Best 1 in 9 team to ever play football, BC. Yeah, they beat Fordham 66-10, though. It's real impressive. I think it was 66-10. You can go ahead and put that in the comments. I'm sure there's a lot of Tech fans that would love to go along with that. Hey, they got players though. Not like every team doesn't have that, but they do have people that wear jerseys for them. Little quarterback keeper, first down for Boston College. Damn, for BYU. Let's go check some scores. Boy, Alabama going down is something, isn't it? Remember when they were ready to fire Brent Venables? I hope people take note of that. They were ready to run Brent Venables out of town last year. They're going to be in the top 10 next week. Jet sweep here for BYU. Damn, this guy might score. Touchdown BYU. TCU plays defense like Georgia Tech. This looks familiar to me. This is very familiar. Yes, it is. I think USC will jump Tech. It'll be interesting to see where they rank Tech next week. Would not surprise me if they drop Tech from 16. And to be honest, I don't really care. The only path for Georgia Tech in the playoffs is winning the conference. And then you'll have a bunch of people crying about that. Hey, we got ACC terrible. They don't deserve a playoff spot. Shut up. I didn't make the rules. Matter of fact, it should just be the Big Ten and SEC. They're the only teams that get to play the playoffs from now on. Hypothetical matchups, that's why. Who was Alabama's other loss? Alabama lost today to Oklahoma. Who the hell was their other loss? Oh, it was one of the worst teams. It was one of the worst teams in the ACC. It was Florida State. That's right. Does that matter? Will they still be ranked in the top 10 when the playoff committee makes their rankings Tuesday? Yes, they will. Absolutely, they will. Watch them be ranked 7th. Watch them drop 3 spots. Guaranteed. Well, that was actually a good loss, though. That was a good loss. I guarantee you Alabama will not drop out of the top 10. I guarantee you that. Did anyone else in the top 10 lose this week? I don't think they did. I mean, Texas A&M tried. God, what a collapse by South Carolina. I tried telling Jackpot, I was like, look, man, I know what you're going through. Just imagine this was your rival doing this to you. Okay, Texas is about to, at the hands of Georgia. Georgia's still up 28-10. What is Texas ranked currently? They're ranked 10th. So, yeah, there's no world where they remain in the top 10. They'll probably drop them. They'll drop them to like 13. They'll have Texas as the first team out with 3 losses. I think they're going to drop Tech. I really do. And then Pitt will not be ranked. So Pitt getting blown out really puts a damper. That might mean we get a 3:30 kick with them next week. Because let's look at next week's games. You've got Florida State plays NC State Friday night at 8. Let me go to the top 25. What juggernaut does Georgia play? Oh, Charlotte. That's right. They probably not getting game day. You think they're putting game day in Charlotte? Oh, Georgia scored again, 35-10. Alabama's got Eastern Illinois. Ohio State's got Rutgers. USC, Oregon. Has game day been to Oregon this year? I want to say they have. In fact, I'm almost certain they have. Atlanta Hawk Stamp just subscribed. Welcome to the rest of your life, sir. It's the best decision you could have made. Game day's already been to Oregon. Texas hosts Arkansas. Texas will be ranked, they're not going there. BYU's got Cincinnati, but Cincinnati just lost today to Arizona. Utah's got Kansas State, but Kansas State's 5-5. Miami goes on the road to Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech's 3-7. Michigan's got Maryland. Louisville goes on the road at SMU. which is an interesting game for the AC, who ends up going to the ACC championship. SMU has got to win that game, but it's still not game day. Michigan State at Iowa, no. Tennessee at Florida, no. South Florida at UAB, no. Sanford at A&M, no. Missouri at Oklahoma. Has game day been to Oklahoma yet? I don't think they have. I don't think game day's been to Oklahoma. Syracuse at Notre Dame, Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Man, where the hell is game day going next week? Because if Pittsburgh would have not got blown out by Notre Dame, you might make the case they go to Atlanta. Hey, Rick, will you officiate our wedding this upcoming April? Absolutely, yes. Yeah. You have to go through some type training, though, for that. Or so you have to be ordained in some way to do that, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I ain't got nothing going on in April, man. Is there anything special you want me to do? Do I have to wear a shirt to officiate your wedding? Because I don't really want to. Basically, if I come to officiate your wedding, I want to make it about me. I know it's your special day, but it's my time to shine if I'm officiating it. It's in Alabama, so you don't have to be ordained there. Honestly, I don't know why it would matter anyways. I'll give you my take. I think I don't understand why marriage holds any weight beyond what you choose to give it. Like this is what I think for how that should work. Government has nothing to do with your marriage. It doesn't mean anything. If you go have whatever ceremony you want to have in whatever religion, whatever you want to do. As far as insurance and who's covered under your insurance, I think once every 5 years, you should get to select and lock in who you want covered under your insurance. And then after that 5-year period, if you want to drop them as being and have someone else carried under your insurance, then you just pick another one. So basically you sign them to a 5-year contract. To me, why marriage plays a role in any of that is beyond me. Yeah, you get one. And it can be whoever the hell you want it to be. Wouldn't that be better? That would be way better. Then you could have, it would just be like contracts in the NFL where people ball out toward the end of their contract. So if it's a lady you're covering, she really starts waiting on you hand and foot as that 5 years comes up. You could even give her a franchise option to be a part of your plan or something. That would be fantastic. All right, run up the middle for TCU. They'll get about 5 yards. Make the whole thing an advertisement for King's Ransom, like he said. Yeah, I'll get up there and be like, look, guys, we're here today to marry Jack Johnson and Felicia Anderson. But more importantly, have you heard of King's Ransom? You can use promo code WreckTalk, and you can get a discount. In fact, if any of you guys out there that are attending the wedding that don't have King's Ransom, just go ahead and get up and go get some. We'll wait, okay? BYU's on ESPN. You're 95% sure they're going to JMU? Who is JMU playing? Why would they go to JMU? Do you want your marriage to last? Get some King's Ransom. Yeah, if I'm officiating your wedding, dude, I'm acting a fool. And people be like, "Oh wow, do you know the bride or groom? What who do you know, the bride or the groom?" And I'll be like, "I've never met either one of them. He asked me on the internet to come here and do this." Yeah, this guy just asked me on the internet to come officiate his wedding, and I was like, "Well, I ain't got shit going on, so that's why I'm here." Oh, looks like a late hit off this fair catch punt return. No flag called. Let's see the replay of this. How is that not a flag, man? The ref even came over there shaking his head no. All right, so BYU, the ball back, they're still up 10-0. Minute to go in the first. You'll get some good breakfast food at the reception for your services. That's it. I don't get to have dinner. I mean, you all pay for a big dinner, right? Fish or steak or whatever it is. Fish or chicken. Run up the middle for BYU. Man, BYU pounding it here. Get about 9 yards. Yeah, I'm going to get up to officiate your wedding and be like, by the way, I think marriage is stupid and a waste of time. Anyways, we have these two to get married here today. It's two lovebirds. 2nd and 1. Here for BYU. Handoff up the middle. First down BYU. Isn't it good for Tech if BYU loses? Playoffs for group of hold on. But it'd be bad for the Mormons. I want to say yes, but the thing is, it's not like if BYU loses, they're moving Georgia Tech to 12. That's not they'll move an SEC team or a Big Ten or whatever. Breakfast for dinner will be served grits bowls, homemade pastries, and personal coffee station. What is a personal coffee station? How is that different from a coffee station? What's personal about it? Does it have my name on it? Are you saying I get a personal coffee station? Why is it personal? Yeah, the truth is we ain't got to worry about playoffs. Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Good side hustle wedding officiant sponsored by local divorce attorneys. Is there anyone in the chat that's been divorced before? Anyone in the chat been divorced? It's okay. You can type it down. I won't tell nobody. Georgia Tech is undefeated in games outside of Raleigh. There's no way it's just me when half the country's been divorced. Have I checked in on C-Dog since the last live stream? I actually have. His brother texted me. And if C-Dog 2 isn't here, it's very close. That's his story to tell. I'll let him tell it. But if C-Dog 2 isn't here, it's imminent. It should have been 1x times. Tech probably should be happy with what they can get. I wouldn't normally say that, but the thing is, it would be difficult for Tech to be any worse on defense than they currently are. if Georgia Tech makes the ACC championship, who is the most ideal opponent that we have the best chance to win? Man, I ain't got no clue. We about got beat by Boston College tonight. Honestly, I don't think it matters much. Yeah, I mean, can we play UNC? Is there a lacrosse team that can play as a football team that we can try and beat up on? Is there a high school team that could qualify for the ACC title game? We just about got beat by BC, man. I'd just be happy to make the game. I'd just be happy. Don't ask me who I'd rather play. I mean, because I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think we're going to have to worry about it because I don't think we're beating Pitt. I mean, is there a line on Georgia Tech Pitt right now? There's got to be. If Pitt isn't favored, then nothing makes sense in the world. As of 11 a.m. today, Georgia Tech was a 3-point favorite. Pitt should be, honestly, if I was setting the line, I'd have Pitt minus 6.5. Oh, that's what SEC glaucoma awareness says. Let's go to one of these other services. They don't have one set yet. 2nd and 1 for Boston, I keep saying Boston College, for BYU. BYU gets over midfield now. I think we just play better in Atlanta. I feel sick about Pitt, though. So so our defensive problems are that they can't play on the road. I don't think that's it, man. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's it. First and 10 here. Throw complete. One missed tackle. First down. BYU. Almost down to the 25. Yeah, our defense is so bad. They could play on Mars. I don't think it would make much difference. Is that game over and Georgia win 35-10? Is that the final? Again, I'm confused at how Texas is so bad on offense. With Steve Sarkisian. It's almost like someone said Arch Manning being a Heisman Trophy front runner was completely moronic. Do you guys remember that Arch Manning was the Heisman Trophy front runner in the preseason? Based on what? He threw for 300 yards against UTEP one time? That's neat. Oh, but his last name's Manning, so he must be good. Oh, okay. Deep ball here for BYU. Overthrew him, though. Well, Cade Klubnik made sense because he had a fantastic year last year. Arch Manning didn't have anything remotely like what Cade Klubnik did as far as a resume. Arch Manning barely had a resume. All right, 2 minutes left. Yeah, I mean, That tells you that the people that vote on this shit have no clue. We already know the AP poll voters are completely idiotic. Oh, late flag here in this BYU TCU game. It's going to be a PI, it looks like. If we can just go back to bending instead of breaking. We went from bending instead of breaking to getting bent over and have one broken off in our asses. That's what we traded that for. Bend but don't break to bend one off in your ass. Yeah, we got bent. We got way bent. Can Haynes King play defense too? Well, yeah, we might have to play on both sides. We might have to do like Dion did with damn Travis Hunter. First down BYU with the end around. Flag, though, it's going to come back on a hold. They get a first down. It's going to come back for holding. Yep. Sure enough. Can I beat UGA? I don't really know what you're asking. What does that mean? If I suited up and it was just a team of wrecks, could we beat UGA? Of course. Can't believe you'd have to ask that. 1st and 20 here for BYU, empty set. Can Georgia Tech? Not based on what I've seen. Quarterback draw for a loss. Wow. Yeah, I could probably wrap up better. Here's Georgia Tech tackling. We forget that we have arms on either side of our torsos, and we tackle like this. We tackle like we lost a contact we're trying to find. The damnedest thing I've ever seen. Someone tell us that we've got arms on either side of our torsos. WreckTalk D-line, C-Dog O-line, Haynes King everything else would sweep Georgia 40-0.
Ohio ST didn't have either star WR after the first and still put up 48. They might beat us by 40, and I don't think anyone can beat them, unfortunately.
Well, no one could beat them last year other than you. I mean, that's the thing. That's like the Georgia Tech-Miami thing, where for whatever reason, Miami can't beat Georgia Tech. For whatever reason, Ohio State can't beat Michigan even when they're winning national titles. It's bizarre. Speed option here. Oh, my goodness. Touchdown BYU. This man takes a step like he's Justin Thomas and scores. Damn. What a play. What a play for the Mormons there. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying they're worried about us without King. Philo is going to be great. He's a different player. Indiana will be the Big Ten champs, huh? That would suit me just fine. I mean, I don't have anything against Ohio State. I'm just tired of seeing them at the top all the time. You think Philo will leave if Buster leaves? I don't know. Armless Torso Man would be a good character to represent RD, yeah. Tate is out with a calf injury. Okay. The thing is, Philo's got amazing arm talent that King doesn't necessarily have. Well, not necessarily that King doesn't have. Now, King surprised me. I mean, he's thrown for what? almost 800 yards in the past 2 games. So that's been a little surprising. Yeah, I don't know. How many yards does Jamal Haynes have this year? I guarantee you it's probably under 500. .446. Jamal Haynes has 94 carries for 446 yards, 3 touchdowns. What about Malachi Hosley? He's got 518 yards, 6 touchdowns. I feel like he should have had more. How about Haynes King? How many rushing yards does he have? He's got 1,888 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Where's his rushing stats? He's got 737 if you trust. No, that's from 2023. Hold on. He's got 807. No, that's not from this year either. Maybe it is. Give me a year on this. Why is this so difficult to find out? Okay, he's got 754 yards rushing. So Haynes King by far is our leading rusher. 14 touchdowns on the ground. 14 touchdowns. Jeez. I didn't see where it said 754 on ESPN. That's not factoring in today's numbers. So he'll have 800 yards on the ground, and he'll have, 2,200 yards passing. Georgia Tech can make the ACC championship even with a loss to Pitt. I mean, I think mathematically that's possible, but that's probably less than a 1% thing. Because then you'd have to enter a multiple team tie with 2 lost teams, and they're going to have the tie break kick over you. All those teams are. So he's got 2,259 passing yards, 807 rushing yards. Oh, sack here. TCU sacked. Man, BYU is going to roll over TCU. They were going to roll over them. Georgia Tech beats Georgia 2-0. 2 1-point safeties to secure the win. I don't care how you win. I'll take a win any way I can get it. Yeah, the truth is Georgia Tech can't afford to lose to Pitt. I mean, you would need like 10 different things to happen for Georgia Tech to lose to Pitt and still make the ACC title, which ain't happening. First and 10 here for TCU. They end up converting a long 3rd down. Wake is eliminated. Okay, Wake eliminated from. I didn't even know they had some kind of outside shot. Another first down TCU. Oh my God, to the 40, 30, 20, all the way down to the 10 for TCU. So TCU showing some life. PAT 2-point attempt where the defense gets the ball safetied. So you'd have to run. What? Has that ever happened in the history of college football? LaHeisman, that's right. LaHeisman is evidently my catchphrase. All right. TCU threatening to score, pump fake. Quarterback rolls out, throws to the end zone, incomplete, no flag. If we lose to Pitt, Virginia Tech would need to upset Miami for us to get in. A lot more other than that would have to happen. That would throw Miami out, but what about SMU? What about Virginia? What about Pitt, who would have the head-to-head over you? And one loss. They'd have to lose to Miami. Handoff up the middle for TCU. Not much going. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 7. I mean, maybe we should just think it through. You've got, where's my eraser? Let's erase this monstrosity up here. Why the hell we ran that, I'll never know. TCU 3rd and goal here. Play action, pump fake, rolls out. Not going to get there. They'll have to settle for a field goal or go for it. You've got Virginia. Let's write that bigger. You got Virginia. They've got one loss. You've got Georgia Tech with one loss. You got Pitt with one loss. Those are all the one-loss teams. Then you got the two-loss team. Well, no, you got SMU with one loss. Then you've got the two-loss teams, which are Miami. They got 2 losses. Louisville has 2 losses, right? Or did they have 3? I think they got 2 losses. Where show me your conference schedule here, bud. Louisville's got 3. That's right. So Louisville's out. Duke has 2 losses. Yeah, Duke has 2 losses. The Dukies have 2 losses. So that's pretty much the only teams that could vie, right? Duke 2 losses, Miami 2 losses, and that's it. The rest of the teams have 3 losses. Now, Pitt. We'll do it in another color. Pitt plays Georgia Tech, and they play Miami left. I think Miami's got SMU, don't they? Pretty sure Miami's got SMU left. Someone check that for me. Doesn't SMU play Miami, or do they not? They play Virginia Tech. Okay. SMU's got Louisville and Cal left. So we'd like Louisville to beat SMU. Duke still has North Carolina. No, they don't. Hold on. Yeah, Duke's got North Carolina and Wake left. Hmm. Virginia's got Virginia Tech. Tech's got Pitt. Who'd we say SMU had? SMU's got Louisville and Cal. All right, so SMU's got Louisville and Cal. Georgia Tech just has Pitt. Duke has UNC and Wake left. Yeah, Duke's got UNC and Wake. Miami just beat NC State. Miami has Virginia Tech and Pitt. And then Virginia's got Virginia Tech. Does Virginia have another ACC team they play? I don't think they do. No, they don't. In fact, Virginia's on a bye leading into Virginia Tech. So the only two teams that play each other, the only two matchups between teams that could possibly contend are Georgia Tech, Pitt, and Pitt, Miami. So Pitt's got a tough out. So at a minimum, if Tech lost to Pitt, you would need all of these teams except for Duke and SMU, I think, to lose another game. So you'd need Virginia to lose another game, and you'd need Miami to lose another game. First down BYU. If we lose, so using the website I posted, if we lose to Pitt, we need SMU to beat Louisville and lose to Cal, Miami to lose to Virginia Tech, and beat Pitt. That's weird. How does Pitt losing after they beat us help us? Interesting. Play action here for BYU. First down, still on his feet. To the 20 for BYU. 10. Touchdown BYU, I think. Touchdown BYU. BYU's going to blow them out, aren't they? At least TCU won't be shut out. Yeah, there's the moral victory. What other games are on? Nothing. It's 10 o'clock. Oh, Virginia Tech and Florida State, are they still playing? Can't be. I'm assuming Florida State won, didn't they? Yeah, Florida State won. Yeah, Steve Sarkisian losing his mind onside kicking with 14 minutes left. they're going to review this touchdown. This is not the TCU I saw demolish UNC. Well, it doesn't take much to demolish UNC. UNC's dog shit. UNC was feeling themselves a little bit because they beat two of the worst teams in the conference, in Syracuse and Stanford. And they thought, oh my God, maybe it's not as bad. And then it was like, yeah, it is that bad. It's absolutely that bad. Who else says TCU played in the ACC? Let's see. They opened up with North Carolina and beat the absolute fool out of North Carolina. And they beat SMU, you're right. SMU lost to TCU. Boy, the ACC sure doesn't help themselves with looking shitty. Dude. SEC or ACC does not help themselves with looking shitty. I guess if you're SMU, would SMU rather Pitt beat Tech or Tech beat Pitt? Or does it even matter for them? What's going on, Mr. King? Mr. Smith? Where's that website? I got it hotbarred somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So we beat Duke. Virginia beat Duke. Florida State's been, Miami beat NC State. Wake Forest beat UNC. Let's have SMU win out. How does that work? How about that? Okay, so SMU probably would like Georgia Tech to beat Pitt. No, that would be assuming Pitt lost to Miami. Okay, this is what SMU wants. SMU needs Georgia Tech to beat Pitt, and then Pitt to lose to Miami. If Pitt doesn't lose to, Miami to beat Pitt. So SMU needs Georgia Tech to beat Pitt and then lose to Miami. If that happened and SMU didn't take another loss, they would be in over Virginia. Oh, not necessarily. In this simulation, it goes down to the Sports Source rating score. Interesting. Unless Wake beats Virginia. If Wake beats Virginia, they're clearly in. Man, it gets complicated. Is there chaos in the ACC championship run? Yeah, like it's still really unclear. Yeah, traffic cones, man. Our defense is a bunch of traffic cones. So SMU needs a few things to happen to be in. SMU's definitely on the outside looking in, even with one loss. Georgia Tech and Virginia controlled their own destiny. Duke controlled their own destiny until they lost tonight. So if Georgia Tech, Virginia went out, they're definitely in. But I don't see Georgia Tech beating Pitt. I don't see it. Man, I don't know if I can stay up for this whole game. BYU's clearly got this in contention. Yeah, the scenario I've come up with for SMU to be in. Well, here, I'll just I'll let you look at it. Where's my boom. This is what needs to happen. This is a scenario to get SMU in. So there you go. That guy did reach back out to me. I reached out to the guy who designed this whole website, and I said, "Hey, I'd love to have you on. You know, how do people donate to you?" And he was like, basically, I like to stay in the shadows. I don't want or need any attention because he's not an egomaniac like me. But he does have a Venmo and some ways you can donate on his website. Pitt coach said he didn't care about the Notre Dame game. Yeah, that was a stupid thing for him to say. Which he basically did say that. That's not exactly what he said. He said we could lose to Notre Dame 100-0 and it wouldn't matter. I mean, why would you say so? Again, I think Narduzzi's a good coach, but he does and says some silly things. And Georgia man's right. It comes off like you knew you were going to lose that game by a lot. That's how it comes off. Which if I was a Pitt fan, I would be irate about. Like if Key said that, like let's say we beat Pitt next week, and then Key were to say, "Oh, we could lose to Georgia 100-0, but we're still going to the ACC title." I would be ready to fire Key over that. Honestly, that's an insane thing to say. Key would never say that, but he got in a Twitter spat with his own players like 2 or 3 years ago, too. Do you guys remember that? He was like going back and forth on Twitter like he's Deion Sanders with his own players. I don't know if Pitt and Notre Dame are a rivalry. I mean, deep ball here for TCU. Incomplete. He said he would be happy to lose by 100 if he beats the next 2 games, or if he wins the next 2 games. Yeah, any coach that says a game doesn't matter, at a minimum, has had a serious momentary lapse in judgment, or is just an idiot. Like, then you shouldn't be coaching. If the games don't matter, then stop coaching. That should be something you could be fired for cause for. If you're a coach and you say losing a game doesn't matter, they should be able to fire you for cause. Too bad Brian Kelly didn't say that. They could have used that damn excuse. Shit. They missed out. I hope LSU loses every game until the sun becomes a red giant and consumes the earth.
What happens if Pitt beats Tech but loses to Miami?
What happens if Pitt beats Tech but loses to Miami? It depends on what else happens. They'd be out, I'm sure. Yeah. You could have SMU, Virginia. They would need, let's see here. They'd need SMU to lose to Cal. which then you would have a 3-way. Look at this. Look at how insane this gets. Where's my right screen? So I got Pitt losing to Tech, and then losing to Miami, and then SMU losing to Cal. You have a 3-way tie that goes to Sports Source ratings in that scenario, meaning they have the exact same opponent conference record. This could get ugly. This could get, or maybe ugly isn't the right word, but this could get crazy for sure. And look, that could, with as chaotic as the ACC has been this year, I mean, that could happen. If Georgia Tech, SMU, and Virginia went out, their tiebreakers would heavily depend on it. SMU would be out. SMU would be out. Georgia Tech would be clearly in because all those teams play Wake Forest. Virginia lost to Wake Forest. SMU lost to Wake Forest. Georgia Tech beat Wake Forest. So Georgia Tech would definitely be in. Then you'd have a head-to-head matchup with SMU and Virginia. They haven't played head-to-head. Then it would come down to their opponent record. No, it would come down to common opponents, and I'd have to look at who the common opponents between. Well, look, we could just run it here. You're saying if Georgia Tech, SMU, and Virginia went out, we'll just run it. Georgia Tech, where we got Virginia here? Virginia's on a bye this week. That's right. Actually, Virginia would get left out in that scenario, most likely. It would be Georgia Tech, SMU. But in that scenario you just gave, Georgia Tech's definitely in because of common opponent. Just get a committee to decide who makes it. I wouldn't count Virginia Tech out against Virginia, though. Yeah, if they all went out, I mean, let me see if I can find a scenario if they all went out and SMU doesn't go. The problem is Virginia plays such a bad schedule. The only one that's worse is maybe Georgia Tech. Who does Virginia play that SMU doesn't? Would Boston College losing to Syracuse change it at all? No. Would UNC beating NC State matter? It would. So in that same scenario, if UNC beats NC State, then they have you have a tied opponent record. Wild. I don't know that Virginia Tech gave Georgia Tech everything they had. I mean, Georgia Tech was never in threat of losing that game. If that's everything they had, then Virginia will beat the dog shit out of them. Miami is not better than Georgia. Well, it doesn't matter who's better. Every time we've beat Miami, they've had more talent, if that's what you mean by better, and it hasn't mattered. Even when Miami beats Georgia Tech, they still lose because they refuse to take a knee. It's the damnedest thing. I will take Haynes King over Carson Beck, though. I will say that. Miami just annihilated NC State, who beat Georgia Tech last week. Let me go back to Miami's. Who did Miami beat last year? Did they beat anyone that beat Georgia Tech, you think? It's almost like who you beat last week don't have the first fucking thing to do with who you're going to beat the next week. It's crazy, isn't it? Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? Didn't Florida State beat Alabama? Didn't that happen? You get that every week's different, though. Sounds like it. Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, let's look at Miami last year. Miami was actually interesting last year because they were playing with fire all year because their defense was so subpar. Georgia Tech's defense is odd in that it seems to have regressed as the I don't think that our defense has necessarily regressed. Maybe they have regressed. Again, I think that the problems with Georgia Tech, like how bad Georgia Tech's defense has been masked by two things. One, they have a very weak schedule. And two, of the teams that weren't the worst that you played, they made a ton of mistakes that helped you out. I mean, the best the defense probably played was against Colorado, maybe? Because we turned it over 3 straight times against Colorado. Boy, that seems like a lifetime ago. Alabama wasn't the same team they are now when they lost to FSU. Flukes happen. Georgia Tech losing to NC State wasn't a fluke. Are you an SEC?
Love you, Rack. Was at work during the
apologist?
game stressing the whole time. Dropping a prayer for the Pitt game.
Love you, Rec. Was at work during the game, stressing the whole time, dropping a prayer for the Pitt game. Richard Smith, are you on the playoff committee? You sound like someone that would be off. Hey, when good SEC teams have bad losses, we can write that off. It's not a big it's a fluke. It's just a fluke. They're not the same team now that they were. I could say, well, Georgia Tech's not the same, is not going to be the same team against Pitt they have been the past 2 weeks. So actually, we can discount those two performances. It's not a big deal. It's bizarre logic, sir. So you're basically saying losses don't matter for certain teams. Certain teams' losses don't matter. Do you feel that way about Notre Dame too? Damn, touchdown TCU, 4th and 1. They ran it right up their asses like Pitt did against us. Oh, okay. SEC has won like 19 of the last 25 national titles. How many has the ACC won? I don't know. Does that mean that you should give the benefit of the doubt to team? So you're admitting I don't care who loses in the SEC. Doesn't make the first fucking thing to me if an SEC team loses. You're a complete moron, man. Do you feel that way about Notre Dame too? Then they lost 2 games, one to an ACC team. Alabama lost to an ACC team too. Does none of that matter? Do you need help tying your shoes in the morning? Or does that not matter because you're Richard? Yeah, I need help tying my shoes, but I know I'm smart though. They make Velcro, Richard, if you didn't know that. That's about to change your world, learning about Velcro shoes. You ain't going to have to ask for help no more. They were a different team. Different team. I mean, the mental gymnastics some people will go through is amazing to me. They might make a bowl, but they would lose. They would lose at least a few games. I don't even know who you're talking about. Who's they? Who is they? You're another one of these guys that think that everyone lives inside your head and knows what you're talking about. They don't. So if Texas A&M would have lost to South Carolina today, would that also not have mattered because it was to another SEC team, even though they only have 3 wins? Would that also have not mattered and TCU should have just remained ranked 3rd? Do you think Alabama should be ranked like 7th in the new college football playoff rankings too? They lost to Oklahoma, but that was a good loss. Alabama lost to Oklahoma today, but that was a good loss, guys. And when they lost to Florida State, they were a different team, so that doesn't count. Can we all agree that that's below 70 IQ thinking? Can we agree that that's under 50 IQ reasoning? Just type out, I don't care what the result is if I think the team's good. If an SEC team is 6 wins, if they're 6-6, hell, I think they should be in the playoffs because they were a different team all the times that they lost. They were a different team when that happened. That was a lifetime ago. That was a lifetime ago. 1st and 10 here for BYU, like we give a shit about this game. I mean, I can't take you seriously. It just means more. That's right. There you go. Just say it, Richard. I just want the best teams. What in the fuck does best mean? Define best, Richard. What does that mean? Write out your definition of what best is. But you want to regress to what the playoff system used to be when we used vague terms like best to just shoehorn in whatever team we wanted. You know, and as much as I've trashed Florida State, just leave out an undefeated ACC team because, well, they probably would lose. Oh, it's 10-24. Yeah, we got to be accurate with our score here. Yep, doesn't matter. Matter of fact, Georgia Tech lost to NC State. That was a lifetime ago. You know what I think? I think if Georgia Tech made the playoffs today, they wouldn't lose. They would beat every team in the playoffs and win a national title. So even if they lose to Pitt next week, that they should still make the playoffs because I just feel like they're the best. I just feel that they're the best. What does best mean? Teams that I say are the best are the best. That's what I think. You know, setting aside that no one gives a shit what you think. They never have. That's why you're in here. In fact, Pigskin Peter, you still in here? Peter, you still in the chat? If you are, I'm going to call you on the phone, and because I want to talk. I want to see if you can make sense of it to me. Okay, I'm going to call you. Pete deals with these people much more than me.
What's up, buddy?
So how is it that if you're Alabama and you lose to Florida State, that doesn't count because they're a different team, and if you lose to Oklahoma, that doesn't count because that's a good team?
Well, because I said so.
Because they're just the best.
Yeah, they're better. Look, the system is broken. Look, as much as I don't want to see college become the NFL, they need to adopt a more NFL type system when it comes to the playoffs, because it's all objective. I mean, yeah, it's based on record, but it's like we're talking about now. Certain teams get penalized for losses more than others, even if it's a bad loss. Like you said, if Texas A&M lost to South Carolina's a bad team. They're 3-9 going into today.
Yeah, who have they
that would be
beat?
considered a bad loss.
Who?
I mean,
who is
they
South
probably
Carolina
won't
beat?
drop, like, I don't even know. That's a good question. Nobody good.
They're probably the best teams that they lost to.
But I mean, it needs to be a system. I mean, we had kind of a system like that before, but I mean, not in the playoffs, but where if you win your conference, you get in. First, the group of 5 doesn't need to be in there in the first place. That's insane. Look, all this talk about James Madison getting in instead of an ACC team. Virtually every ACC team, except for maybe one or two of them, would be favored against James Madison on a neutral field. I don't know that. They don't belong there. Every major conference should be represented in the playoffs in one shape or another. But
they're wanting to do away with that now. They're all mad at the ACC. ACC's no good, which they aren't very good this year. But now that means we need to change the rules for the foreseeable future because the ACC is down bad this year.
Yeah, but the ACC is not good. I'm not saying that they are. But we talked about this before. When the ACC, when a 3-win team beats a 9-win team, they go, "Oh my God, look how bad they are." But when that happens in the SEC, they're like, "Oh my God, look how deep the conference is." I mean, you got 3-win teams out here who could beat 9-win teams. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah.
They suck the SEC off. I do think the SEC is the best conference. But I still believe that if you're going to have 4 leagues out of 135 teams or whatever, 70 teams in a Power 4 or whatever it is, at least one of those from every conference should be represented in a 12-team playoff, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. So Richard says no one thinks Georgia Tech would win if they let them in the playoffs. That's not true. I said they're the best, moron. They would. Tell me I'm wrong. They're the best around. No one's going to keep Haynes King down. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I hate, like, we love college football because it's not the NFL. That's one reason we love college football. But
yeah,
it's gotten so fucked now with just this I think so and I test and things that are completely objective that it's kind of starting to ruin. Well, it hadn't started. It's kind of ruining the playoffs. What do you think? Where do you think Alabama's ranked in the next playoff ranking?
What were they, 4?
Yeah, I think they'll drop to 7.
I think so too. 6 or 7. They won't drop much. 2 or 3 spots.
What do you think they should be?
I'd have to see who's behind them that I'd put ahead of them. See, here's the thing. I think Oklahoma's a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, their offense is terrible, but their defense is elite. And that's how they won most of their games. So I don't consider that to be a terrible loss. The Florida State loss was bad, though. They got a pass on that one, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I meant subjective. I'm an idiot.
I still think Alabama should be ranked in the top 10, maybe 8th or 9th or whatever. But I mean, I think what needs to happen with the playoff committee is they need to sign a contract with somebody, not have this. First of all, there shouldn't be anybody that's currently an athletic director or involved in their own interest in college football on the committee. That's number one. And they should also have someone that looks over it. They sign a 5-year contract, somebody who's not in the business currently, who knows a lot about football, somebody like Mac Brown, for example, to oversee and be the chairman of the playoff committee. Because the current one they have now is an absolute fucking joke. That guy is a joke. He doesn't know what he is. Like what he said about Georgia Tech. They got dominated on both sides of the ball, and Haynes King had 500 and something yards on his own.
Yeah.
And the next week he says something even dumber. So he's not watching the games. Somebody like Mac Brown, who's got central control and is there for long term, not on a yearly basis, would be a much better option than what we have now.
You know what we should do? put me, you, Lou, Sea Dog, and then maybe some others on the playoff committee.
We run that shit better than it's being run now. I guarantee that.
I'm not even trolling. I do think we would run it better than it's being run now.
Yeah.
It would at least be more consistent. Like, it would make it, like, internally, it would make sense. Unlike Notre Dame being 10 and then Miami being whatever they were.
What do you think the chances are that the ACC gets left out? Well, Duke losing today was a big thing in that. If Duke had won the ACC, the ACC had a bigger chance of getting left out. But them losing, that knocked them out of that conversation. I still think Miami could get in, even if they don't go to the ACC championship game.
You're talking about the ACC getting 2 in?
Well, I'm talking about them getting any in at all.
You don't get an automatic bid for winning your conference?
Well, no, it's the top 5 conference champions that are highest ranked. So if James Madison wins the conference and is higher ranked than any team in the ACC, then they would get in. So there's 6 conferences, not 5. Only 5 auto bids.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I haven't even considered that a group of 5 conference champion could get in over the ACC.
Yeah, they could.
The chance is not 0. I know that.
No, actually, it's close to 0 now that Duke lost today. If Duke had won the ACC, they've got 3 losses, or they had 3 losses going in today, I think. They suffered maybe not getting in ahead of James Madison with their ranking. So they would be the one left out. Now, here's the thing, though. Miami's the highest ranked ACC team, even though they're like 4th or 5th down the list. So there's a chance that Miami could get in, even if they don't even make the ACC championship game.
They would be the only. That is crazy. And it would kind of make sense, as bad as Duke has been losing to UConn, that Miami could have gotten into the playoffs as the only ACC team without even making their conference championship.
Yeah, I mean, if they're ranked in the top 12 at the end, it doesn't matter if they went to the game or not, so they'll get in. Now, Notre Dame is the other piece in that, because Notre Dame's higher ranked than Miami. They don't have a conference championship game. They have to be ranked in the top 12. So them winning today, I mean, they got 2 shitty teams left. They're probably going to get in. So that only really leaves one other at-large bid, which could be an ACC team or it could not. I mean, I guess we have to see, but.
Yeah, Notre Dame not being in a conference really screws this too. Because they take a spot from one of the conferences.
Right.
By the way, the teams that South Carolina has beat, South Carolina State, Virginia Tech, and Kentucky as the only teams they've beat.
Yeah. The worst teams in the country.
The worst team in the SEC, probably. A bottom barrel ACC team, which is really saying something right now.
Yeah.
And an HBCU is who they beat.
Yeah, it's bad.
So I haven't got to talk to you. What about that epic meltdown from Shane Beamer? What happened there?
I didn't see that after the game.
Well, no, I'm just talking about your melting down in the second half.
You're talking about the game.
Yeah.
Oh, the game itself. Yeah, that had it reminded me of the Falcons in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Oh,
that's how bad that was.
Oh my God.
There was some stat that somebody read to me on my live stream. In the SEC, a team that's leading by 24 points or more at half, they were a perfect 182-0 in winning. And today, the Gamecocks became 182-1.
Say it with me. 182-1.
That is bad.
That's called shit history. They made shit history.
I hate the Gamecocks with every cell in my body. Even I fucking felt bad for them today.
Oh, dude, I was in a jackpot stream like, hey man, I know how this feels. You know, we melted down against Georgia last year. You know, at least they're not your rival. Then, damn, you saw him break his TV, right?
Oh yeah, I saw it live. Yeah,
and that was completely Like you could tell that wasn't staged. Well, nothing about Jackpot is staged, but like he just looked bewildered for like 15
Well, he didn't
seconds.
even mean the funny part was he didn't even mean to break it. And once he realized he broke it, he got mad because he broke it.
He was like, Shane Beamer raised a bunch of pussies and now he's coaching a bunch of pussies.
He called him like a rat face weasel looking bitch or something like that. I'm like, what is going on?
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Unfortunately for Jackpot, though, I think Shane Beamer's not going anywhere. His buyout's like $27 million or $25 million, whatever, somewhere around there.
I mean, who would they get? It would be kind of my question.
I don't know. And here's the other thing. Shane Beamer was talking about, all the rumors, and he wasn't talking about it, but the rumors were he would go to Virginia Tech with the Virginia Tech job opening. Well, now it looks like James Franklin's getting that job.
Which is an infinitely better hire than Shane Beamer.
Oh, yeah, of course it is, yeah. I mean, James Franklin at Virginia Tech is a home run.
Yeah, I mean, we play them a lot, and he got the whole Techno Bowl thing, so I kind of hate it just because I think they'll be good under him. But I'll be rooting for him at Virginia Tech because screw Penn State. I hope Penn State loses every game.
I don't hate James Franklin. I don't have any reason to. You know what I mean?
What has he done? What has he done wrong? I mean, he has a bad record against the top 10. How many of those top 10 losses are to like Ohio State?
Well, everywhere he's gone, he's won a lot of games. I mean, he averages like 75% win percentage or something. He took Vanderbilt out of the gutter. That's how he got the Penn State job. He won an average of 10 games a year at Penn State. I mean,
yeah,
this is one of the top 10 coaches in the country. I mean, they fired him because he could never win the big game or win the Big Ten. But I mean, he's still one of the top coaches in the country. I mean, Virginia Tech would fucking hit a home run if they got him. I mean, I can't think of anybody better they could get than him.
Lane Kiffin, maybe, but and then
no.
Well, they couldn't get him.
Virginia Tech.
He's not. I'm just saying, there's only like 2 or 3 coaches on the board, maybe that would even be better in a fantasy world.
Right? Yeah. He's up there though.
Which, speaking of, who in the hell is LSU gonna get?
Well, I don't know who they're going to get that's going to be until they settle this thing with Brian Kelly. I mean, if you're talking about paying a guy $12, $13 million a year, which is what the going rate now is for a school like LSU, and we're going to say, okay, here's your buyout. Your buyout's, whatever percentage of your contract. I'm looking at him going, well, how do I know you're going to pay me that buyout? You just screwed the last guy over. I mean, I wouldn't sign a contract with somebody that did that.
In the most transparently fucked way possible, too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Hey, we didn't actually fire you because we're gonna fire you. Like, what?
They tried to pull some real slick shit. They're like, all right, we're gonna tell you to go home. Your services are no longer needed here, and then we're gonna offer you a bunch of money a bunch of times. You're gonna turn it down, and then we're gonna turn around and say, hey, we didn't actually fire him. He just didn't show up for work.
What?
What?
I said that in my video, or I was like, so he just stopped showing up because he was confused, like he was unsure, and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna not show up. What? They announced it. In fact, the freaking governor came out and confirmed that to it almost, which is, I said, would be hilarious if the governor's statements are like the smoking gun as to why they have to pay him. That would be the funniest thing ever. Like him doing that press conference was completely stupid.
The whole situation.
Hit at GT set for 7 p.m. on ESPN.
Firing than this. I mean, it's bad enough when these coaches get fired and get paid these astronomical payouts, but this right here is, I don't think I've ever seen this before.
No, I've never even seen anything remotely like it. The only thing that came to mind was like Mel Tucker at Michigan State, but there he was jerking off on the phone.
Jerking off on the phone, yeah.
How do you think that happens? Like you're on the phone with a girl and you're like, hey, I know that you came to talk about sexual assault to our team, but I'd really like to jerk off right now. Is that cool? Because that's what she was there for.
I mean, look, It's a good angle if you think about it. I mean, it's like if you're trying to get laid, you go to the abortion clinic. You know what I mean?
I guess, man. Like but at least with that, there was some evidence, and they said they were firing him for cause. They didn't say you're fired. Oh, wait, not. Like they said that from the get-go. I don't know how you can fire someone, retroactively unfire them, and then say, oh, there's a cause. Well, what's the cause? Check, please. We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, they're going to lose that case. I don't know who's advising them.
Hey, no, they're not. There was a guy in your comments that said you're an idiot for saying that.
Yeah, he goes, the lawsuit won't get paid out. You sound uneducated. I'm like, look, well, first of all, buddy, I know you don't know me from from Adam. But I've been married to a contract lawyer who negotiates multi-million-dollar contracts every single day of her life for the past 20 years. So you think you know more about her? Are you more educated than her?
He thinks he is. He's the best. He said he is.
Yeah, I know he is.
Appreciate the $2 Pitt at Georgia Tech set for 7 p.m. on ESPN. Well, that's good. Be a night game at the Dodd.
And then he showed his real colors after that. He commented, you talk all this shit about Brian Kelly and you don't like Brian Kelly. Well, if he's so bad, like you say he is, then you should be happy this is happening to him. I'm like, no, that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I'm not a rap bastard like you. I don't just rule on emotion and be like, well, I don't like the guy, so if he gets screwed out of money, I actually think that's morally correct. It's not how I roll.
Exactly. I mean, LSU's in the wrong. They presented him with a contract. He signed it, and now they're trying to get out of it like a bunch of big pussies. And they got the money, too. That's the other worst thing about it. I mean, LSU's got to be one of the top 10 money-generating schools in the entire country, if I had to guess. They certainly don't have the money.
Their people aren't. They're the third poorest state they're the third poorest state in the country. But as far as their football program, yeah, they got money.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck them.
Fuck them. Have you found the older you get, that's your default? Just fuck them. Whatever.
I mean, I say that when I wake up and I say it before I go to bed. It's like my prayer.
It saves me time in my prayer life. I don't have to pray so much if I just say fuck them.
Yeah, I get down on my knees and I put my hands together at the edge of the bed and I say, fuck them. And then I go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good for this season in the ACC. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. What's the source on this night game? I don't know. I'm taking people at their word, which is usually a bad call for me. But Georgia Tech barely beat the worst team in the SEC. Are you a Clemson fan saying that to me? What are you doing? Yeah, but we did beat them. It was a shitty win.
I'll let you get on the stream, buddy.
All right. See you, buddy. Little 20-minute conversation with Pigskin Pete there. Any team that gets in from the ACC probably getting destroyed. If your odds to win a national title are below 1%, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. Again, all this stuff that has nothing to do with winning or losing. You're not a serious person, dude. You're not a serious person. So this is what we should do then. We'll look at the ESPN percentage to win, and hell, fuck playing the games. We don't even need to play the regular season. Just let the ESPN prediction indicator pick who wins the game, and then we'll just skip straight to the playoffs. Yeah. It helps with injury, right? You won't have as many players get injured. And yeah, just let ESPN predictor predict the games. ESPN Gamescast says it's to be determined. Does Vandy get in the playoffs? Right? They're one of the teams that don't get a bump. They don't get the Richard bump from the SEC. Richard should. Let's ask Richard. Richard's a goddamn genius on all this. Richard, should Vandy make the playoffs, Richard? Or do they not meet your percentage threshold? Are they not best in your Richard? Who the hell are you even a fan of? First of all, who the hell is your team? We need to stop pretending that the playoffs is about stacking the schools that will generate the most ad revenue. Unfortunately, I do think that's playing a major part in things like, hey, who do we think will make the most money if they play each other? Now, I know what you were saying. West Virginia man here, but all my family went to Tech. If West Virginia can beat Pitt, Georgia Tech can beat them. Did you see Georgia Tech play today, though? Did you see them play today? Because it weren't that good. I will take an ugly win, yes. Richard, who are you a fan of? You seem to be the expert on all this. You can't answer a simple question. 7 p.m. kickoff confirmed by the ACC. Says Shane Black. This is the crazy thing, and why I both love and sometimes hate college football. College football fans are so crazy that a troll comment or just a troll, someone who's just saying things they don't believe, is indistinguishable from an actual fan. So Richard is a Dogs fan. That makes perfect sense, sir. About 95% of the time, I get an ignorant comment. It's from one of yours. I also think this is a troll account. You made your account September of this year, so you probably got blocked previously, and then at the beginning of the season, you made a new account to just espouse your ignorance. I mean, I guess you win because we're all dumber for having read what you typed. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, if you look at me and Pete and C-Dog, we're talking about, like, who is the dumbest person to ever live in the college football community and YouTube that we're in. The two top contenders, both proclaimed to be Georgia fans. Isn't that a miracle? Chess Hall, who literally, I'm not even making this up, took an IQ test and it was well below 70. You can ask Pigskin Pete. He went to the Slob Olympics, took an IQ test. It was like well below 70. The other one is Slita, also a self-proclaimed Georgia fan. A guy that e-begs and talks about getting cucked by every girl he's ever been attracted to in his immediate vicinity. This is no coincidence, by the way. No coincidence. Slita now demands $100 for every time he streams. Every time. So, two dumbest creators in the community, both, it's a two-way tie between two Georgia creators. Fascinating to me. Like, every time C-Dog is like, hey, did you hear about this guy and this really dumb thing he did? I'm like, oh, who he's a fan of. And C-Dog's like, you know who he's a fan of. Every single time. You're a perfect example of that. Oh, I guess we've been screwing off so long, it's now the third quarter. 70 isn't that low of an IQ if you're a Georgia fan. You're absolutely correct. If we're talking about the Richards of the world, it's pretty high. It's top 1%. There's your 1% number coming back around. Anyways, it's 2nd and 5 for TCU. And they'll get the first down. Looks like BYU is going to win this thing. Just came out of halftime. Back to throw for TCU. Steps up in the pocket. Wiggles out of there. Picks up a few yards. How about that? How about that? Richard, how many alt accounts do you have that have all been banned? How many of them? This is why I don't care about that anymore, because it never once occurred to me. Like, someone admitted in the chat, like, I'm trying to get banned. That's literally what they said. It never once occurred to me, honest to God, that someone would come in with the hopes of getting banned, like that was some kind of badge of honor. I mean, it's just an epidemic of stupid people. Why is the Jackets defense so booty cheeks? I don't know. I mean, we just struggled against a team whose coach said he has no idea what's wrong with their team. He about figured it out tonight, though. He had no idea before he faced Tech's defense. Back to throw for TCU, complete. One broke tackle, down to the 40. I can't believe I asked who Richard was a fan of, as if I didn't already know. Who else? Who the hell else would you be a fan of? Of course you're a Georgia fan. TCU quarterback gets out of the pocket, picks up a few on first down. You probably bark at people too, just to do it. Yeah, you would think I'd be an expert on this by now. Sadly, I am not. I am happy we're going to have a night game next week, though. How do you feel about Tech not wanting to play any games in the Benz next year? It's not that we don't want to, so, well, I mean, I guess we don't want to. Why would you delete that comment? Nothing wrong with that comment. I don't know how to, but what you said is, I know y'all could use the money. Well, that's the thing with you guys is, you know, oh, you don't take football seriously, you're broke. And then when we take football seriously and do things to inject more money in the program, then you make fun of us. But what we did is we raised season ticket prices. So they're a good bit more expensive this coming up year. I'm sure to offset that. No, we don't buzz at people. Never once have I buzzed at people. I do hate playing at the Benz, though. I mean, how many of y'all in the chat have been to the Benz? Because it doesn't feel like a football stadium to me. It feels like a mall. We always gonna make fun of you. That's a good sentence. Just like y'all make fun of us because some of our fans are incredibly ignorant. Buddy, it's more than some. It's more than some. It's way more than some. Again, I grew up very near Athens. I know all about it. But Georgia Tech has some incredibly idiotic fans too. Not as many, because there's not as many fans, but it's just every time I turn around, it's just some other dumb thing that y'all have said. It wasn't built while I lived in Georgia. Yeah, the Benz, it feels like a mall. I hate it. I also hate this epidemic of artificial turf. Like, how many teams have a field with artificial turf on it now? It always looks shitty. Always, to me. Especially Tech's field. And they just redid their field this last year. They put new artificial turf down. It looks fake as hell, and it looks shitty. Why? Also, the Benz, Arthur Blank demanded that it be right downtown. And it's in an awful area. The Benz is surrounded by some horrifying shit. Night walkers, lot lizards, whatever you want, whatever you would think would be in a terrifying area is around the Benz. So if you play a night game there, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, the Fire Mike Bobo stuff is insane. It's insane. Appreciate the $2.
Mo State has artificial. Looks faker than a corn emoji. Glowing star emoji.
Mo State has artificial. Yeah, most teams have it. Do I think you have the right? That's the difference in me and you. Y'all think you have some birthright to win. You don't. Do I think you have the right to be a blubbering idiot? No. That's a great synopsis of fans like yourself. You're a bunch of entitled idiots. You think the world owes you something because you were born handicapped. It doesn't. It's probably the worst location they could have picked. Feel like you're going to get mugged. Yeah, it's in an awful area. Look at what the Braves did. They moved that stadium to Smyrna, much better area. In fact, Turner Field's in a worse area, which is where Georgia State plays now. Turner Field was in. I'll tell you how people who've listened to me have probably heard this before. The area that Turner Field, where the Braves used to play, it was so bad. The preacher of the church that I went to growing up got shot in the parking lot of it, in the back. He got. They shoot preachers out there where Turner Field used to be. That's bad. But the Braves moved to Smyrna. They paid the stadium off years earlier than they thought they were going to be able to. It's a huge success. Damn, drop ball by TCU. Arthur Blank has opened the roof of the Benz one time. Kemp is saying he wants the tax dollars back from putting that on the Benz. I guess that's a slightly political argument. I don't understand that. It's just like, all right, you have these owners that are billionaires, billions and billions of dollars, yet you and me have to pay for the stadium. This happened in Buffalo. I just watched a video about the Buffalo Bills. These guys, like $50 million the owner has. Like 90% of the stadium he has the taxpayers of New York paying for. How does that make sense? Why? It's not, you don't even get to vote on it. Wouldn't that be great if there was like a one item vote you got to take on whether, hey, we're going to have all the taxpayers foot the bill for the stadium? I mean, I guess college football has fans pay it, or a lot of it, or boosters, but you have a choice in that. You can just say, I'm not supporting the team anymore. I'm not buying season tickets. I'm not donating. Turner was sketchy, but I have a lot of good memories there. I mean, I have good memories there too. But they shoot preachers out there. I'm just saying, why do these billionaires need hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money to pay for what they could pay for? I don't understand that. It's interesting. So Kemp's saying he wants the money back from blank. I see why. The Falcons suck. The Falcons are awful. When they first built the Benz, that's when we still had Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, and we were a good team. This is a new grift that the NFL owners have, where they'll be like, oh, do you want to buy seat rights, lifetime seat rights? And they were selling that at the Benz for the Falcons for $10,000 a seat. That's not your season. That don't include your season tickets. That's just you have the right to buy season tickets in that seat first for the rest of your life. And I'm thinking, well, what if the Falcons end up sucking after Matt Ryan leaves and Julio Jones leaves? Won't I feel like an idiot for paying $10,000 for these seats? And yeah, you would have. Jordan Lott, you just made the best decision of your life, buddy. Congratulations. This whole seat right thing is a new invention. Just sub to your channel. Go BYU, go Cougars. Know how to party in Utah. I'm with you, buddy, but y'all ain't got no clue how to party in Utah. I had a guy tell me he went to the Georgia Tech BYU game back in like the late 2000s, tried to order a beer in Provo at a pizza restaurant, and they tried to kick him out of the city. They kicked him out of the restaurant for trying to order a beer. What do you mean you know how to party? What? I have fond memories of Turner. It was a dump, but it was my dump. I don't think it was a dump. It was just in an awful area. Georgia Dome was kind of dilapidated. That's fine. Part of it was because a tornado hit when Alabama was playing Kentucky in the SEC championship basketball at the Dome, and the game went to overtime, which probably saved hundreds of people's lives because a tornado ran right through the Georgia Dome. It peeled part of the ceiling off where you could see right up to the sky. Had the game not gone to overtime, people would have drove out when a tornado ripped through, and it probably would have killed people. So that's interesting. But yeah, just because the Georgia Dome's dilapidated don't mean that you and me got to foot the bill for hundreds of millions of dollars for Arthur Blank's billionaire ass. In fact, screw Arthur Blank. How about that? Screw Arthur Blank. Rick, I was in Wichita last weekend for a wedding, and I haven't been asked to not come back. These other states cannot wait. And I have been asked not to come back. These other states cannot handle. Why were you asked not to come back? What the hell did you do in Kansas? Are you from Georgia? My cousin and uncle and aunt lives in Savannah. Are you asking me or Joe? I'm pretty sure you can listen to me and tell that probably from Georgia. I think we need another Diet Coke. $13 to $27. Second and 3 for BYU. Little speed option. They'll pick up the first. That's what I mean. The area around the stadium, I like tons of concourse space. It was open. My tab had 49 drinks on it. What? Man, you tried to get shitty, didn't you? Joe, are you okay?
I'm fine. I just walk it off and be fine. Joe, I'm over here. I'll look at you in a second.
I know about getting that drunk. Here's when you're in that oblivion stage of drunk. This is the look that someone will give you. They look 1,000 yards through you. That's when you know someone's about to hit oblivion. Yeah, the taxpayers shouldn't just foot the bill. At best, it should be a loan with a certain interest percentage. That I wouldn't have a problem with. Like, yeah, we'll give you an $800 million loan to build this stadium, and you're going to pay it back with, I don't know what an interest rate that makes sense would be at 4% interest or something. Oh, I don't want to pay the 4% interest. Actually, that's fine. I'll just pay for the stadium outright. Okay, then why did you need $800 million from me if you could have just paid for it? Shut up. $49 drinks is 3 times beyond blackout. Well, we need a rate though. We need to know like what time frame you consumed 49 drinks over. 0.04 is the limit. That's like not even a full drink. How is that not PI on that? Pump them full of seafood Mardi Gras, yeah. That's probably like if you really need a colon cleansing, then go get you a seafood Mardi Gras from Marietta Diner, because it cleaned mine on a date. It achieved the desired effect. I went to Smoky Bar to watch Georgia Tech come back. Is there a legal limit for drinking and flying? I would bet there isn't. Yeah. If there is a legal limit of alcohol consumption for flying, that needs to change now. Hey, I'll be your pilot for today. Is it today or tomorrow's flight? Don't worry, my co-pilot's fine. He'll take care of everything. Hello, problem. What seems to be the officer? What a catch by BYU there. Damn. Bro, there's no way. You had 49 drinks in 4 to 5 hours? That's like alcohol poisoning, man. What are you talking about? 49 drinks? You're telling me you had like 13 drinks an hour or something? Or a little less, let's say it was 5. You had a little less than 10 drinks an hour? How you couldn't even have a conversation with anyone? You'd be like, hold on, I got to get my 10 drinks in. I can't stop drinking. Yeah, sorry, I can't talk. I'm drinking right now. I don't want this conversation to get in the way of me blacking out immediately. Yeah, I hate to tell you, but that's like some dangerous. If that's true, which it's not. Let's just be honest. You didn't drink 40-something drinks in 5 hours. I mean, let me tell you. Let me put it to you this way. Sit down right now and drink. How many drinks did you say you had? 49. Drink 49 Gatorades in the next 5 hours. Drink 49 Gatorades in the next 5 hours. Like, you can't hold that much of anything. You can't drink that much of anything. It's probably a good way to see if you have a problem. Do you think it would be weird to drink 49 drinks in 5 hours? No, that's fine. Okay, do you think it would be weird to drink 49 Sprites in that time? Millis Vanillis actually ate like over 50 hard-boiled eggs on a stream in one sitting. And he literally said it almost killed him. I don't remember the details. It was a wedding wreck. That's the first and last time I'm ever doing that. Something's not right with that story, man. First and last time I'm doing this. So let me drink 49 of them in 5 hours. In your worst case scenario. I mean, like in my running days, when I was a complete moron and I did shit like that, I think I drank like a 12-pack of Smirnoff in like 2 or 3 hours, and I violently threw up. And it wasn't because I was like blackout drunk or anything. It's because it's the same thing as drinking 12 Sprites in 2 hours or something. Like it's not going to work out. I've drank 18 beers in 6 hours and I just piss every 20 minutes. Well, that's why you can't break the seal. You got to hold off breaking the seal. Once you break the seal, you're peeing every 10 to 20 minutes. Sugar is what makes the hangover bad. I'm going to tell you something. If you want the worst hangover of your life, get the cheapest, shittiest wine that you can find, like Home Sutter or something, and get drunk off it. Yeah, you'll literally hate yourself. Oh, you got to be a pilot to do that. Well, that's pretty terrifying to know. Yeah, hardest drinkers out there, pilots. Oh, sweet. Very comforting. I maybe drank 24 beers over 5 hours several times in college, and it was not pretty. Yeah, of course it wasn't. Just because like a few of something is good doesn't mean a few hundred is going to be a few hundred times better. Got drunk off at Mike's Hard Cider back in college. Ooh, again, sugar. No good. No good. Joe, is there a legal limit for pilots? I'm assuming there's not. Sparkling wine, get drunk off. Yeah, worse hangover. Wasn't there a pilot like 4 months ago or so that got arrested? I want to say it was a Delta pilot that got arrested at Hartsfield International Airport. 0.04 is the legal limit, or 8 hours bottle to throttle. Okay. All right, see you, Nerd Stop. But basically, someone saw this pilot take his bag into the restroom and dump a bottle in it. And he got arrested on the plane. I guess someone notified whoever, like, hey, something's off with this pilot. And then, like an idiot, he went and answered questions. The only thing he should have said is, I require a lawyer now. Joe's Denzel's character in Flight. Here's a banana boat, buddy. Here it comes. If planes do fly themselves. That was a good movie, by the way. Flight was a great movie. And I love it ended with him screwing up at the end, because that's what addicts and alcoholics do. They don't have some triumphant victory where they're like, hey, actually, I think this is a problem, and before it completely ruins my life, I think I'll stop. That never happens. It's always like, okay, I never thought I'd be jerking off a guy in an alley for $5. But if I wanted to quit jerking off a guy in an alley for $5, I could stop. I ate a cookie once, my shins went numb. I don't understand what is the appeal of pot is, to be honest with you. What's so great about it? Like what is good about it doesn't outweigh the job limiting properties to me. Hey, do you want to eat 8,000 calories in 2 hours? That was a great movie. Denzel played an alcoholic great. If you've ever been around one, somehow everything's your fault when you talk to them. You guys ever known someone who's actually an alcoholic and like you try and talk to them about it? Somehow all their problems when you talk to them, they're your fault. Yeah, man, why'd you let me do that? If you were a better friend, man, I wouldn't have had to done that. No more hypotheticals, no more percentages. Beat Pitt, win the ACC, and go to the college football playoffs. Most corporate jobs don't test for it, but it's entirely lost its appeal after 25. It depends. It depends. Like, there's some things that I get involved with that are like federally mandated drug tests. I also don't understand why, why certain jobs will do an onboarding drug test and then never drug test anyone again. What is the point of that? I don't understand the point of that. Either you drug test randomly or don't do it. It's a stress reliever and good sleep medication. That just wasn't pot made me paranoid, and I hated it. It had the opposite effect. Is that picked off? 30-13, BYU's up and just picked off TCU again. I get drug tested for pot all the time. I also have been randomly breathalyzed multiple times. That's probably a good thing. That I like that pilots. Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. The thing that sucks for pilots is, let's say they have some kind of mental health issue. Well, if they tell anyone about that, then they get grounded and they might never fly again. So there's this massive incentive to just bury any issues you're having. And then, I don't know, the thing that happened with that German pilot. What was the pilot that was depressed and literally intentionally offed himself by nose downing the plane that he was flying with however many 100 people in it? What's going on, Millis? Yeah, I'll say I think pot should be legal everywhere. I don't understand pot being illegal. It is not for me. I personally think all drugs should be legal. Personally. What you do with your own body, I don't think is any of my business. You know, If you want to shove Ajax up your ass, have at it. That's you. It's none of my business. Yeah, weed has a lot of properties that are good. Helps with nausea, etc. I don't think it should be illegal. You could argue about some hard drugs, whether they should be illegal, methamphetamine and whatnot, but pot is illegal, that pot is illegal and alcohol is legal is curious, though. That makes no sense. Alcohol is verifiably worse. Like, you don't get super high, be driving with your buddy, he's leaning out sick, gets decapitated from a street sign, and you don't even realize it. But I've read a story about someone drunk that did that, riding with their buddy. Their buddy literally got decapitated. He parks, goes in, falls asleep, doesn't even realize his friend's dead in his car. So they either should both be illegal or they should both be legal. That would make sense to me. Yeah, you can legalize all this stuff and just tax the fool out of it. Like, for instance, Benadryl is legal, but taken in extremely high doses is a deliriant, which is one of the most terrifying drugs you can take as far as the hallucinogenic properties it gives you. So should we make Benadryl illegal? No, absolutely not. If you want to toe the line of possibly stroking out, again, this is your business, not mine. The guy who is drunk driving blows through the stop sign. The guy driving high waits for the stop sign to turn green. Yeah. Yeah, like, people who are super high on pot are generally not a danger to anyone or themselves. Like, the worst thing that'll happen being super high on pot is that you'll just fall asleep and eat a lot. Now, that's not to say, because here's the other end people take, is like, there's nothing harmful or addictive about pot at all. That's also bullshit. Adults should legally be allowed to take their consciousness, to alter their consciousness if they want. Shouldn't treat adults like children. Yeah, again, my whole thing is, what you do with your own body is no one's business but your own. The government should not get involved with this. My sky god's ideas of what you should do with your body shouldn't have any bearing on it. None of that should matter. However, we like to let people's sky gods dictate what everyone else does, which is curious to me. Except for Joseph Smith. That I'm still going to go with the Mormon thing. I'm going to be Mormon. Mormons probably got it right on alcohol. Wasn't that in Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke? Someone thinks Ajax is Coke and they snort Ajax, which I guess you can do that, right? That's not illegal. I imagine it's fairly harmful, though. So when am I adopting polygamy? I don't know that I can do polygamy. I mean, I couldn't, if me with one woman for a decade or so ended the way it did, I can't imagine doing that with like 5 different women. The Mormon women were probably a little bit more apt to do, what the fuck I tell them to do, though. So that might actually work out better. Why did Vandy need TCU? Oh, because BYU's ranked 12th. That makes sense. I've got some libertarian leaning on drugs and the like, but I just imagine legal heroin, meth leading but I just imagine legal heroin and meth leading to better societies. I'm assuming you mean not. Having 5 wives sounds like my biggest nightmare. Yeah, I mean, I don't get that. I understand, like, polygamy makes all the sense in the world if you're trying to grow a religion. I mean, if you're trying to start a religion from the ground up, what's the first thing you need to do? Strip women of all rights and then make contraception some boogeyman. Well, then everyone just has a bunch of kids and your religion grows and grows and grows. So that, I mean, that's calculated. You know, basically, if you're wanting to grow a religion, look at women like Sleeta does. If Sleeta wasn't a complete idiot, he could maybe be a cult leader. But you actually have to be charismatic and likable to be a cult leader. So he's out. I mean, is there anyone... some of you guys don't know Sleeta. Is there anyone less likable than Sleeta? Because I'm having trouble coming up with anybody. Like, I'm trying, like, the Koresh Davidians. That guy was at least likable. If he wasn't, like the whole Waco thing, that cult leader, if he wasn't likable, he couldn't convince people that he needed to have sex with their wives. Sleeta can't even have one woman agree to have sex with him. When he tries that, they end up having sex with the nearest guy in their vicinity, in front of him, in the same tent. Just hilarious. He's told that story many times. He said that he took this girl. Pete probably knows the story better than me. He took a girl like camping or something, and then she ended up getting blasted, like getting butt blasted by some guy in the tent with him. Which means, I guess it never occurred to him, he's bumping fuzz with this girl I like. What should I do? Maybe get the hell out of the tent? Maybe unzip the tent the way he unzipped her britches and leave. That would be what I would do. I think Sleeta has a weird cuck fantasy. Like, I think he has a cuck kink. That's the only thing that makes sense because it just keeps happening to him. He's told 3 different stories in which he's been cucked before. And he also just keeps telling them. Some comedians made a joke. Polygamy is what happens when 2 people destined to break up decide to make it as painful as possible. I don't know that he butt blasted her. I think that's the funnier version. He probably did both, though. I think maybe it's both. Maybe he did the pink and the stink while Sleeta was laying there just watching. Sleeta is kind of Forrest Gump if Forrest Gump had no real talent. Forrest also sat there while someone was porking his mom. Me. Sleeta's running around telling people that basically all his viewers are abusing him. It's weird that he has the view he does towards women, but he's like everything he proposes to hate, he's a victim. He begs for money from everybody. All his problems are someone else's problems. He stands on his own 2 feet. He's not, he doesn't need a handout like all you broke bastards. Yet he did have his mom pay his credit card bill, which he offers up. Like, me and Pete have talked about this. If he was a character, like if I was trying to write a character of like that's just a satire on a YouTube creator, and I tried to make them as funny as possible and as ridiculous as possible and as hypocritical and ironic as I could, I wouldn't come close to what the real Sleeta is, who's not a character. That it's just him. He tells this story, or he goes on this rant about how everyone needs handouts, and then willingly offers up that his mom's paid his credit card bill for him. Why did he say that? Why would you tell people that? I don't think legality matters in the slightest. Plus, if it was legal, wait, JT86. Yeah, Sleeta's a real jackass, guys. Sleeta's he's a real good guy. Yeah, you don't appreciate Sleeta. So yeah, he basically says Sleeta says if you watch him and you don't donate anything, then you're actually abusing him. Because he said this many times, like, I'm tired of being abused and taken advantage of by my viewers. Setting aside the fact that he's been on the platform since like 2008, a ton of people that got on YouTube in like 2008 are all millionaires now, just based on the fact they got in at the right time with YouTube, like Angry Video Game Nerd, Boogie29188, I think. Even DSP. By the way, Pete, have you ever seen DSP? Darkside Phil? Darkside Phil is what Sleeta wishes he was. Like, Darkside Phil is what Sleeta aspires to be. If you ever have a minute, go look up Darkside Phil. He's a better Sleeta. In fact, hold on a second. We don't care about BYU beating TCU 100-0 or whatever. Let's peruse here. You guys clicked on the late night stream. You knew what this was going to be. We don't even have the right quarter on here. I'll show you Darkside Phil. One second. Here we go. Where's my right screen? Here we go. Give me... I'm too vain not to have myself on the screen, though.
All right, so I believe this is going to be our epilogue now. I think this is a Chapter 7 epilogue. Now, why did I react like that? Because I had heard that there were streamers who spent upwards of 5 hours trying to beat the final secret boss of this game. That it was so hard for them that they spent hours upon hours grinding on this boss to try to defeat it, and they couldn't do it. Like, they were like defeated or whatever, okay? And here comes the hater brigade. They all stormed the stream, and they're like, you see, the only reason that you beat that boss so quickly is because they nerfed it. Remember, they nerfed the game. They nerfed. Why don't you do this game? Is because I was like, no. They didn't.
He recently begged for money for like a long time.
I don't want anyone going crazy. I don't want anyone going beyond their means. I don't want anyone bending over backwards. I'm just saying, if you're a regular who attends the streams,
here we go.
You'd like to help out right now, tipping is a great way to do that. Contributions are mandatory, or not. Excuse me. Boy, did I screw that one up. Contributions are not mandatory. I forgot the key word there. Not mandatory. Paid for like several days, and I got bills in that time. Like, how am I going to pay those bills when my pay is getting delayed?
Yeah, he's actually way better because he won't say... He actually won't flex on his own fan base as like, oh, I don't need the money, but you need to donate. He'll give you the sad routine of like, hey, my bills fell on a weird week, and I'm just like... I want to keep streaming, but for me to pay my internet bill, I need some donations. But he will ban people for not donating, though, which is what Sleeta's tried to do. This is what Sleeta wants to be. So see if we can find a better one of him begging for money.
I want you to understand something. This literally is a situation where I'm in dire financial straits, and if this stands where I'm going to be making half as less money on YouTube as I ever did before, starting now, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to have all my shit reclaimed. Credit card bills are...
Yeah, he's way better than Sleeta. He has a way better story than Sleeta. He started recently saying, hey, I'm going to take down the stream if I don't get $20 in the next, 5 minutes. And he'll literally do a countdown like, oh, I only got $2. All right, oh, there's another $2. I only got $4. I need $16 more dollars. But he actually got signed by, what was the company that signed him? He got kicked because, in fact, he probably, knowing him, because it'll show if someone uses any of your content. It would not surprise me doing that he claims the stream or tries to strike it. Like, he's insane. Boogie Bentley guy lost a ton of money in crypto. Are you actually you talking about the Tennessee guy or actual Boogie 29188? Boogie, the video game fat guy that lied about having cancer. He lost a ton of money in crypto. I don't know anything about the guy that Jackpot hates, though. Yeah. Boogie, there was a documentary on Boogie where he made like a few $1 million on YouTube. He had a character called Francis that was really popular, where he was this big fat guy that would get mad and break his video games and his Xbox and shit. And then he invested a bunch of money in crypto, but while he had money, he was just slinging money on hookers. He was like, man, I don't want an Arkansas 8. I want an LA 9. And that's what he was paying for. So they interview one of the hookers that had sex with him. And it doesn't show her face, and it's got the voice modulation thing. And she goes, yeah, after I spent the night with Boogie, I got out of the sex industry. This guy's so disgusting. He insta-retired a hooker. So in a weird way, he was so disgusting that he improved someone's life by getting them out of sex work. It's insane, dude. Oh, my God. He lied about having cancer. Mudahar got involved with that. He said he had some blood disorder that could cause cancer, and then he just went ahead with, he told people he had cancer. He never had a diagnosis, though. He just inferred he had cancer and was like, he wasn't directly asking for donations, but he was using that to try and get donations. Do I know Chris Chan? Not personally, but I know of him. Yeah. Pretty psychotic guy. Yeah, pretty psychotic guy. I know about the lolcows, man. I know about the lolcows. Like, honestly, in retrospect, the one that's probably the best out of all of them, as far, or like the least shitty, is probably Wings of Redemption. Now, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but Wings, in comparison to, like, even, who's the guy that runs Lolkai? Keemstar. Like, Keemstar is a disgusting person. Do you make your money from live streams? How much do people get from YouTube? It depends. It depends on a lot of different things. So there isn't just a straight metric for, you get X number of dollars per view, right? Doesn't work that way. Goes into a lot of different things. It go like what is the average view duration? How engaged are people with the videos? Like how many comments do they leave? I'll just give you a synopsis. Unless you're getting at a minimum tens of thousands of views a video, you're not making anything off ad revenue. You're getting pennies per a penny or a fraction of a penny per view, depending on all those factors. So like for me, it's going to come from super chats, any sponsorship that I have, and memberships. I mean, that's where the majority of the whatever money I make is going to come from. I'm not as familiar. So, how do you say his name? Cyrax has to be the craziest one, but I think King Cobrath was the best person of the cows. Locale Live was hitting. Is this your only job? No, I would be in a bad way if this was my only job. No. It is not my only job. I don't even really this isn't a job for me. This is a hobby that, I get some kind of money from, but I've never looked at it as a job. I spent a ton of time on it. I've invested a ton of money into it. Like, the truth is, I've probably made a little bit more money than I've put into everything. Not much. But, I mean, like, I enjoy doing it. Like, I enjoy talking about Georgia Tech. I enjoy talking about college football. Like, if I was doing this because my motivation was solely to make money, I mean, I wouldn't do it. Do you deserve the money? I don't think, I don't, what does deserve mean? People do what they do. I appreciate whatever, but that is not my motivation. So while we do the late night streams, baby, we get on here, we talk about a bunch of crazy shit, and we solve the world's problems. That's the motivation of the channel. Is basically like every beauty pageant. Have you guys ever watched a beauty pageant? I haven't either, but I've seen clips. And they ask all the contestants all these questions. What's your goal in life? All of them say, to solve world hunger. That's our goal. Have you ever accidentally drunk from the dip can by mistake? Good question. Yes, I absolutely have. And I've absolutely done it more than once. This is why I cannot drink orange juice with pulp. Think about it. Oh, it's 37-13. Not that we cared, but yeah, I certainly have. I'll never be Josh Pate. I don't want to be Josh Pate. There was, I won't say who it was, but there was one guy that had a channel I was on a stream with that said, yeah, I could have as many subscribers as Josh Pate if I just told everything, every fan base was that their team was great. And I was like, no, you couldn't. That's an insane thing to say. You absolutely couldn't. You're telling me you could have like 250,000 subscribers if you just talked in the way Josh Pate does? No. I mean, I've been really critical of Josh Pate, but I mean, he's built a brand. Like, he's great at what he does. That's why he's being compensated what he is. If you could have 250,000 subscribers, you would do that. What are you talking about? Like it's tough to make any, like it would be tough to make a living on YouTube just because you have so much competition. Any idiot can make a YouTube channel. So what is going to be different about you? Why are people going to watch you as opposed to all these already established channels? The truth is they're probably not. They're not. There's some luck involved, right? You get a bump by the algorithm. And when you talk about wieners and stuff like I do, it's probably not going to favor you in the algorithm, but that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And we've torn through some of it tonight, too. I mean, that's one reason I do the late night streams is because I asked myself those questions. I was like, well, why are people going to watch you? Are you going to be better than everyone else? No, you're not. 0% chance that you're just going to be better, more entertaining than everybody. Are you going to be first? Are you going to be the first one to do something? Well, everything that you can do has pretty much been done on YouTube. So you're not going to be the first. Third option, be the only option or be one of the few options. So stream late when no one else is streaming. Probably work out better for you. Josh Pate has been sucking up to Tech all season. Well, as it pertains to a Tech fan, why I hate Josh Pate is because he carried water for Jeff Collins. You know, he has some kind, he was fed some kind of line by Jeff Collins. After Collins was fired, Josh Pate did a video about, coaches that have been recently fired that he thought were basically fired, not because they were bad coaches, but there was, weird circumstances outside of their control. And he basically, he brought up COVID and said without saying it that Georgia Tech had promised Jeff Collins things that they never followed through on. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell could Georgia Tech have given Jeff Collins that would have made any sort of difference into how shitty of a coach he was? And he refused to say what Georgia Tech had promised. So C-Dog made a video about that Josh Pate commented on. Josh Pate watched C-Dog's video where he was criticizing Josh Pate for that. Josh Pate commented on C-Dog's video, and his comment was just like, you didn't understand what I was saying. Like, he never elaborated on what C-Dog got wrong. He just was like, you didn't understand what I was saying. And it's one argument that I can't abide is when people will say, I have some information that proves you wrong, but I can't tell you what it is because it's a secret. Well, then shut up. If you can't tell me what it is, then shut up. What's the point of saying that? The other thing is once Key took over as interim, and then he goes on the road, I think it was 3 times. First game against Pitt was ranked. Georgia Tech, you remember the situation that Key inherited. So Key goes on the road. Game 1, Jeff Sims was still the quarterback. 3 touchdown underdogs to Pitt, goes on the road and beats them. Game 1. Then he did it versus North Carolina, I believe. We were 3 touchdown underdogs then, go on the road, beat them. Not nary a word from Josh Pate about it. And I imagine it's because, he bit hard on whatever story Jeff Collins gave him. So that's why I personally could care less about what Josh Pate says about Georgia Tech. In fact, when we beat Miami, in Key's first full year after his interim year, like Josh Pate talked about just how much of a collapse it was for Miami. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm required to say that, Georgia Tech played a good game. I've fulfilled my obligation, moving on. So fuck Josh Pate as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, that was the thing. Georgia, Key took over, it was immediately a different team. I mean, when Collins was coaching them, they struggled on offense to just not turn the ball over. Key takes over, goes on the road, 3-touchdown underdog, wins multiple times that year. Nothing. And the reason being because they weren't some nationally popular team in the way that they are this year. The reason Josh Pate's talking about them this year is because a lot of people were talking about Georgia Tech this year. A lot of people were talking about Georgia Tech being a dark horse for the ACC. So it's like, okay, that'll, now it's time to talk about them. Definitely worth the loss of sleep. Well, I appreciate it. And I don't fault Josh Pate for just hunting clicks. That's actually this is how you know I've gotten under a fan base's skin. There's two fan bases in particular that have come after me saying, you're just out for clicks. You're a clickbaiting son of a bitch. You're trying to make money off our names, man. That's Florida State. Look where they are now. And Colorado fans. So, obviously, if you're doing YouTube, you want as many people as possible to watch your shit. Now, Georgia fans have never said that to me. Florida State and Colorado. And the other, it's just such a stupid comment because, the videos I've done on Dion have probably netted me maybe $15. Maybe $15. And they're acting like I'm taking money out of Dion's pocket or something for talking about the two teams that I talked about were the teams we played week 1. I have a Georgia Tech channel. What the hell else do you think? What am I supposed to talk about? I'm not supposed to talk about Colorado or Florida State, even though we play them week 1 because it hurts your feelings? Because I hurt your feelings? By the way, boy, we hadn't seen a Colorado fan in a long time, have we? I should be getting thank you letters for running all the Colorado fans off the internet and running most of the Florida State fans off the internet. Now, they're still around, and there's some good – True Seminole's a good dude. Colorado fans, if you know football – you knew Colorado was going to take a dive this year. Now, I was wrong about Colorado last year. I even made a video talking about I was wrong about Colorado last year. But they lost everything that made them remotely good. Also, I make no bones about Georgia Tech this year. They have no quality wins. Georgia Tech has 0 quality wins this year. What's Georgia Tech's best win? Duke, maybe? Is it Clemson? Who's Georgia Tech's best win? I can admit that. These idiots can't admit that. They went 9-3 last year. What was their best win? I think they went 9-3, right? Dion has 0 quality wins his entire time at Colorado. Most of the teams that Dion, his best win's probably Nebraska, who won 8 games last year. His best win's probably Nebraska. Most of the teams he beat were 5-7. You had the Heisman Trophy winner. Most of the teams you beat were 5-7. So I'm like, okay, you lose the Heisman Trophy winner. You lose Shedeur Sanders, who, if you believe them and take them at face value, is the best college football player in the history of the universe. They lose their top 4 wide receivers, too. They lose, key players off their defense. Not only did they say that they weren't taking, They didn't just say like, "Oh, we're not falling off." They said we're going to be even better this year than we were last year because Deion's such a fantastic coach. What's Deion's margin of loss in the past 3 weeks? Probably 30 points. Is the game over? The game's not over. I'm live. There's still 5 minutes to go. Is this game commentary or nah? Nah, we don't really care about this game anymore. I don't care about this game anymore. We're talking about how stupid Colorado is at the moment. This is the late night streams. If you've never been here, we've talked about, the assassination of JFK and how weird that is before. We've talked about buttholes. I mean, muff punt for BYU there, but they're up 37-13. Is there really anything I could say about this game you'd be interested in? Probably not. Deion's gone after this year. They never called me back about my alien abduction insurance. That's L. Brown. We were streaming, was it UNC Cal? Which we nicknamed the cripple fight. One of the worst college football games I've ever watched. We were so bored with actually watching the game that we started contemplating what we'd rather be doing than watching that game. So we found out that in some cases Medicare can cover penile implants, which evidently is this little when they take your blood pressure and they squeeze that bulb, they put one of those in your balls and then it pumps your dick up. So we figured out that Medicare can cover that in some instances. And then we also found out that you can get insurance, alien abduction insurance. I guess that'll pay out in the event that you're abducted by an alien. And it looks like it's going to be a pick six here for TCU. To the 10. Touchdown BYU off a pick six. They're winning. They're going to be up 44-13. Yeah, it's like a pump. It's a little bulb you squeeze. The insurance will also cover your psychiatric care in the event you get anally probed by the aliens and you need psychiatric care for that. Should Tech fire Gideon? I've talked about it. I don't know what that'll do. I think Georgia Tech's defense has a personnel issue. Would you want Deion for defensive coordinator over Gideon? No. Deion, what kind of question is that? Deion's not a coach. What has Deion ever done as a coach that anyone would care about? Again, beat a bunch of 5-7 teams and fire offensive coordinators because they're running the ball too much and he doesn't like that and it hurts his feelings. I said Deion would be a disaster back when Tech was considering hiring him as their head coach, which they certainly were. I'm on record. I said, no, this is a mistake. Colorado's AD stepped down. Deion may be fired by whoever is hired. No. I think what will happen, because I don't think Deion wants to coach anymore. Does anyone think Deion actually wants to be a coach? I mean, Deion, Shador, this is the first year Shador has ever been coached by a team that Deion wasn't the head coach of. So, Deion accomplished his goal. Deion doesn't want to coach. Yeah, you're right. Deion's in awful health. Deion's been, severely diabetic since he was 42 years old. So, setting aside all the bladder, he had bladder cancer. He's had massive circulation issues and diabetes issues since he was, not much older than I am now. So he's in awful health. He's lost toes. Like, he's had to have toes amputated. He had, like, most of his bladder taken out. So he probably doesn't need to coach, right? Yeah, I'm not making fun of Deion at all, but, like, you probably need to step away and just try and be as healthy as you can. There's a reason that a lot of college coaches are leaving and going to the NFL because it's easier. Deion would have been good for the Tech brand. What you mean, like Collins was? But what Key has built will be much more. See, that's the thing. Like, that's what I hear from Florida State fans. But what about our brand, though? And our brand this and our brand that? I could give a shit less about, like, I want to win football games. Somewhere in the mix of all this craziness that's happening in college football, we lost sight of what the actual goal of playing football games is. The goal isn't, oh, well, hell, I found a Georgia Tech shirt being sold in Washington State or Anchorage, Alaska, because who cares? The goal is to win football games. When did that get muddied up somewhere? When did that become like an afterthought in some circles of college football? Yeah, Deion wears a cross around his neck. He likes to say, "My brother in Christ," right before his son beats a guy to incontinence. That I'm never letting that go, by the way. That's been swept under. That's never talked about nationally. Not once did you hear any national news outlet talking about Prime Academy was an outright scam that was investigated by the FBI. They got like $50,000 at Prime Academy or AAA Academy, one of the two. One of the schools he was involved in, part owner in, they were given like $50,000 to buy laptops for all the students. Like, that was the draw of this school that Deion was involved with. Not one student ever got a laptop. No, to this day, no one has any clue. 60 Minutes did an entire episode about it. I don't think a sports outlet, like you like what I'm saying is, like, ESPN hasn't talked about it. I certainly know Josh Pate's never talked about it. So, like, that happened. There was some issue with, like, free and reduced lunch, I want to say, too. His son literally beat a security guard who, at Deion's behest, went to get Shiloh's phone from him because Deion didn't like that Shiloh was talking to his mother. So he tells the security guard, "Hey, go get this, my brother in Christ, go get this phone." It's not allegedly. He lost a lawsuit about, we'll get to that. We'll get to why it's not allegedly. This guy tries to get the phone from Shiloh. Shiloh literally beats him into incontinence. This guy sues, gets over a $12 million judgment because of it. Then, while driving Lamborghinis and stuff around, Shiloh files for bankruptcy to avoid paying this lawsuit. Someone claiming to be this person's mother emailed me, by the way. Who knows how credible that is. So all this, my brother in Christ and wearing a cross, don't mean shit to Deion. It's just a ruse to manipulate people. That's all that is to Deion. It's just one more method to manipulate people to doing what he wants them to do. Setting aside the fact that more than once, Shiloh took an excess of $75,000 worth of jewelry 2 away games they were playing, it got stolen. It got stolen, and they file an insurance claim against it. I'm not saying that was fraud. What I'm saying is, why are you taking $75,000 worth of jewelry, putting it in your locker when you go play Cal or Stanford or whoever the hell it was? Why? It does not make sense. Why does an 8-foot-tall Wookiee from Endor? I'll be right back. I gotta pee. That all being said, they're not firing Dion. Yeah, they're not firing Dion. I think what'll happen is at the end of the season, they'll have a mutual parting of ways. Dion will announce that he's stepping down, yada, yada, yada. Dion needs about $350. I heard this knock on my door, and I went to answer it. And this Girl Scout was selling Girl Scout cookies. I said, how much are them Girl Scout cookies? She said, about $350. It was about that time I noticed that this Girl Scout was about 7 stories high, had a big green tail, got him Loch Ness Monster. Don't you get that Loch Ness Mother $350? I just gave that Loch Ness Mother $350 last week. I've always thought of Dion as a jackass and a fraud. I'm not saying he's a fraud. He's been adjacent to a lot of fraud, though. I don't mind Dion as a guy. I do. I think he's a shitty person. But anyways, but his players just act like the typical you-know-whats. No, I don't. It's obvious and classless, simple as that. Yeah, let me be clear. I don't think Dion is a good person. I don't. I just look at what he's done. You're right. Yeah, Dion's in a position he could bow out gracefully. Is Colorado in a better spot now than when he took over? Yeah, they are. How is he not a good person? Because of the fraud. Because of the fraud. That's basically like saying, but why male models in Zoolander? We've literally been talking about this for the past 30 minutes. Where have you been? Just back up the stream 30 minutes and then you'll know. Yeah, I'm not going to explain it for another 30 minutes. You can go back, you can listen, come back later. Yeah, that's right. So I'd have to look at what happened to the federal free lunch program. I know the FBI investigated that. There's also videos of him being depositioned. As for him, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that he had the physical altercation with, where Dion's like, I mean, what is assault really, though? And for me, the thing that just I lose all respect for people, I don't have a problem with religion, but when people use God as a shield for their own shitty actions or just their decisions, I have a problem with that, which he does all the time. Like, just go look at his Twitter, like God's plan, blah blah blah, blah, all this stuff. You got to stay strong. What's your honest opinion of Gunnar Stockton? I think he's pretty good. First of all, I've been saying I thought Gunnar Stockton was their best choice back when they had Carson Beck. I said I think Gunnar Stockton's a better quarterback. Not if you ask Dion. He doesn't seem to know. Yeah, let's look up what was the details of that. Let's see. I need to go see if I can find that 60-minute special you were talking about. See, I think it was with Prime Prepped Academy. Yeah, the game. We only got 42 seconds left in this game. We're about to get out of here. My 3 most talked about fan bases: Colorado, UNC, FSU. Yeah, it's weird. It's like we play them. UNC, just because it's one of the few teams like them in Miami that I can dunk on. I mean, when was the last time UNC beat us? Because Collins struggling. It was under Collins. We didn't play them this year. So was it 5 or 6 years ago? My Heisman candidates? I don't know, man. I don't watch enough of all of college football. I kind of stick in my lane with the ACC. I'm not educated enough to answer that. Yeah, Pavia should be in there. Pavia, was it Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, should be in there. I think Haynes King should be in there, which is a homer take, but he's been putting up a lot of yards lately. I haven't shit-talked Georgia really in a while as far as their team. In fact, after the game last year, I said I'm not dealing with it. Like, I'm not picking us to beat Georgia until we do. That's been my position. Yeah, Jeremiah Love is pretty sick. Jeremiah Love had a sick play against Pitt today, spin move to the house deal. All right, that's the ball game, boys. That's the ball game. It's 1:30 in the morning. Appreciate all y'all for hanging out. Appreciate everyone for the super chats. And appreciate the conversation. I think we really got a lot accomplished in tonight's stream. The late night streams, it's a wazzy, it's a woozy. Who knows what they are? We'll talk to you guys next time. Y'all have a good night.